It is test roll time.
16.
17.
I'm going to get water.
9.
I'm also getting water.
Damn, I can't believe they didn't fucking do this
5.
shit before the session started. Wild. Crazy how that works.
Hey,
Oh,
I
yes,
was
this is
actually
very loud,
prepared. I had to go run an errand at like 4:30 and was worried I was gonna accidentally be late. So I had my game and shit open, ready to go in case I was running behind. I had my water ready. I was like, okay, so I can walk in and I'll be I'll be good. My errand didn't take me as long.
Water
and I was
paint.
able to get food.
I love it when my family decides to scream in the background after I've gone live. It's my favorite fucking thing.
Yo, same.
Yeah, mine does that too.
Anyways.
It's
Joys in being a
amazing.
streamer, right?
It's amazing and totally not, concerning.
I know, it's wild.
I mean, I had my scare with Leo this week where we almost thought he broke his nose.
Ooh.
Speaking of
He's-
which, how
It's just very bruised.
good. Good. I'm glad Tigeri eased your guys' worries.
Yes, we still did we did let him, or we took him to a doctor just to make sure, and a parent's worry.
Yes.
Yes. But, on that note, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to another episode of War of the Shattered Sun, The Legend of Exilia Regalia. I am your humble Dumble Master on this lovely Easter Sunday, farting tart. I am the patron saint of all pastries. The patron saint, if you will.
The dough is risen.
Yes. Praise for the dough has risen. Oh,
It left
God.
teased for 3 days.
Blasphemous, but at the same time, it's funny.
Oh, I'm going to hell. Which, fun fact,
Get you there,
hell
buddy.
is just nature's oven. So,
I'll join you.
anyways, we're gonna start before I get myself in more trouble.
What is hell but spicy heaven?
I mean, but anyways, how's everybody doing today? Y'all ready to start? We
Yeah.
we have our lovely party today. We have the Punkyard Dogs, the CGs, the Joe Mojos, the J Frost 747s, and the
Yup.
Wicked River 97s. Sarah is going to be joining us. She's just running a bit late. But as far as we know, she's going to be here tonight. But yeah. On that note,
Yay.
let me find some music and we'll start. How's that sound, gang?
Yeah. Am ready.
Last time, you all suffered from a long night of study, trying to desperately figure out what had happened to your allies, Corvin, Amos, and Lord Ballin Fallweather. Meanwhile, deep within an unstable demiplane, Corvin awoke to find Adam Acosta and Lord Fallweather. However, Amos and Lord Bosch had suffered an unfortunate fate, having ended each other. The party at home learned about the tale of the Nightmare Sage, a folkloric entity that Lord Bosch seemed to worship, and began to determine what its connection to current events was. In the demiplane, the group determined a way to return to the material plane, but at the cost of losing Amos's body. Lord Fallweather reluctantly cast word of recall, leaving his dear friend behind. Corvin had returned, however. You all learned of a terrible truth, that whatever armor Lord Bosch had been wearing during your fight was not the breast of Muldoon that you all had been seeking. Lord Fallweather informed you all that Lord Bosch brought back a magical chess piece from the volcano and was rambling about the Nightmare Sage. The theory now is that Lord Bosch had offered the breast to the Nightmare Sage as penance. With few leads, you all finally bunked down for a long rest as dawn approached. Or at least, Most of you did. Rovan, however, decided to leave the castle, having found a mysterious note in his bedroom. As you guys begin winding down, we're gonna cut over to Kore, who I know Punk had to step away for a second. I don't know if Punk's back. Punkles. Punkles is not back yet, so we will not move to Kore. Also, hi Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah!
Sarah's back.
Back
Yes, and told
again.
him right on time.
Yeah.
Tart
Completely.
literally said you'd be running late, and then you appeared.
Yep.
That's amusing timing.
Yes. Just gonna do a bit of stretching.
Ooh.
Well, while we wait for Punk to come back to do the thing I wanted to do, I guess I will start with another individual. We're gonna actually start with Sarah. Sarah, it has been a very long day, and you guys have now gone over the 24-hour mark of being awake. You, wandering back to your room, you finally just pass out on the bed, not a care in the world. As you sleep, there seems to be a residual darkness, despite the fact that you are sleeping in, well, the morning. And I need to change the music. Let's see. I need something a little spooky for no reason whatsoever. Sarah, much
Yep.
like the nightmare you had before, in the midst of your dream, you seem to awaken. You kind of peer around the room, and it is dark. Very dark. For a moment, you think that you slept through the entire day, and it has now turned to night. But as you begin looking around, you notice that the room is getting darker and darker. Quickly, it becomes impossible to see in this pitch black space. You can't even look down and see your hands. Out of the corner of your eye, though, you see something move. You look over to face it, and it's gone. You see it on the other side. You look, but it's also gone. You feel an intense pain beginning to form in your chest. You look down and you kind of run your hand along your abdomen, and you see that you're bleeding. You begin to think like, "Oh, that's bad. That's very bad." But as you look at it, it seems to almost shine. Your blood seems to almost shine along in this very dark space. It's almost like seeing red on grayscale. And then you see it begin to grow more intense, almost blinding. And just as you are prepared to cover your eyes, you feel a massive stabbing pain through your chest. You look and you can see two bright eyes inches from your face. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
7.
7. This pain quickly becomes more intense than you can even fathom. The eyes are piercing white and almost seem to hypnotize you. You pause, pretty much paralyzed. Just as the pain becomes its most intense, you snap awake. Sarah, despite obtaining the amount of sleep for a long rest, you are actually not going to be receiving a long rest.
Okay.
So, you do take a point of exhaustion on top of any that you may have already had.
Okay. But we all just leveled, didn't we?
You did just level. Your level will still go through, so you will still go back up to full hit points, full spell slots, but you are going to still have whatever points of exhaustion you had, with one on top of it.
Okay. Do you happen to know if I had any exhaustion, since I haven't been here?
I believe you had one already.
Alright.
So now
Thank
you
you.
will have two.
Alright, good to know.
But moving on from that.
Yeah.
I see Corey's back. Good. I could do the thing I wanted to do.
Hi. Sorry, I got up to go get water, and I realized, oh crap, my new bottle got delivered today that has like time markers on it and is a fairly good bottle brand apparently. After doing just a slight bit of research,
You're fine.
and then I realized, oh fuck, I just got it. I have to wash it, and it took me longer than I thought. Sorry.
You're good. Corey. As you move over to bunk down, you start preparing for a good sleep after a very long day. But there's still one matter you have to take care of. As you currently have a hawk on your shoulder. Trevelyan. Amos's bird. Trevelyan has been pretty docile since you guys returned. You even at one point saw it go to sleep itself once it realized that the sun was down. Now that it's dawn, Trevelyan seems to be awake but is quiet, docile. You can see that it seems to almost be looking around as if it's searching for something. You are currently in your room. It is currently, right now, you and Trevelyan. Diana is following up, not too far behind you. She will enter in just a moment. But what do you do? What would you like to do?
Oh fuck, she's gotta tell him. Oh no. Does she have a balcony or anything?
You
Or,
have...
like, a room that, like, you know, isn't like the main, like, gathering room, but where they can talk once she gets to her room.
There are plenty of spaces you can go where you and Trevelyan can have a one-on-one.
Good, because she's gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Okay! I see. Okay.
He fucking deserves to know it as in a way he can understand. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Real quick, allow me to send a DM.
Oh no, have I accidentally done something?
No, actually, I'm happy about this.
Owen's like, oh shit.
You accidentally.
I was like, man, you pulled one out of the box, man. God damn it, punk! I didn't prepare this box. Fuck.
You accidentally opened up a line of dialogue that leads to a separate subplot.
Get like the little Xbox notification above my head. New subquest started.
Yeah.
Greetings,
What?
human. It is I, Norman, dear. What?
Ah, fuck.
Oh, what? Not you again. Fuck.
Can I have scritches?
Hey, Jake.
Hello!
Hello there.
I love your name.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So,
Hello, friends.
Jake, context. Corey is having a one-on-one with Trevelyan and has decided
Oh.
to cast Speak with Animals. If it's
Oh.
alright with you, I would like for you this scene to play as Trevelyan.
Oh, fantastic.
So, Corey, you cast Speak with Animals. What do you say to Trevelyan?
Trevelyan, we need to talk.
What? Wait. You're speaking. What?
Yes. Generally,
I can-
Ganassi and
I
other
can-
humanoids can. If it looks like a human and has arms and legs and stuff like a human, odds are it can usually speak
I can
in some
speak.
way.
I can talk now.
Well, I can talk to you. Hi. Can't do it all the time. Magic runs
this
out,
is-
but she says, like, making like a weird, like, grasping motion, like she tries to like gesture.
Trevelyan kind of cocks his head and to look. Huh. Kind of like the thing that he did. His look's gonna kind of go distant a little bit.
So, do you know?
Know what?
As far as we can tell, Amos is not with us anymore. I am sorry.
Not
So very sorry.
not with us. I mean, he's gone right now, but what? Not with us?
His heart no longer beats.
Oh. Oh. You're gonna kind of see Trevelyan kind of shrink a little bit.
And
Oh.
I'm sorry. She says, like, tearing up now. Looking at the ground, not at, like, picking up at him, like, for a reaction, like, every now and again, just to see if it's changed, but she looks sheepish.
Okay. I don't. I don't know what to say.
It's okay. It's a lot to learn. That is the bad news. The good news is, if you want, you can stay with me or you can go free if you wish to go anywhere else. But if you stick around with me, I'll do my best to take care of you and, well, respect you, and also just... You can help me kill the guy who did it.
Above game, you all know that Lord Bosch is dead.
Yes, I know, but
Okay,
she's gonna... She's explaining. Hold on.
I see.
Hold the fuck on. Well, not the one who did it himself. He's gone, but... If you want to help me kill another guy who's just as bad, really. He's just as bad as that guy.
I think I might stay.
Do you think you'll be happy if you stay? Like, where would you be happiest? Because you are a bird. I'm almost pretty sure if I cast a spell on you, I could do magic to help you fly even further if you really want to go somewhere far. But you can also, you're literally a bird. You can go anywhere.
Admittedly, I was at home. Place before I was brought here. but I'm not sure that.
You can go for a visit if you want.
Mayhaps later. I think now. He had me watch. He had me watch a great many things, and I saw. And in seeing much, I learned how a little bit how you people are. Ways to tell if people are good or if they're hiding something.
You learn to pick up things every now and again. People are weird.
You
like
do
that.
not feel like you're hiding anything. You feel a little bit like him, and
You'll find I'm much more laid back. Although I do miss him, and I am sorry that you're not with him. I do blame myself a little. A good bit, actually. But this isn't about that. I'm asking where you would like to be.
Perhaps in time I would return. But I think now. I think now there is. I think now I will be amenable to staying.
Well, I'm glad, because I enjoy having you around.
Trevelyan kind of bobs his head just a bit. Dips his head just a bit.
We've got a lovely grounds. He's just like gesturing.
Trevelyan, you do know that you kind of have been somewhat aware of the current environment, the geology of the place you're in. And while it's not where you were, while it's not your home, it is by the coast, and it does have a similar feel to it.
It's also currently a castle and it's nice, dude. Like, whatever you want.
Out of curiosity, has Trevelyan seen any other hawks of similar species? He's a red tail, for the record.
Not yet. But that
You just got here, though.
Yeah, you haven't been
He
here
just
for
flew
super
in.
long.
Sorry. Boy, his arm's tired. God damn it.
I might stay. And depending on if there are others like of my kind around.
Yeah. And if not, like, we've got enough people who know about just the environment in general to know where more of your species would likely end up if it's somewhere nearby, so you could live there and visit me if you wanted, or visit us, like, you know, anyone in this group, because no, you're welcome here, essentially. Whatever you want, wherever the wind literally takes you.
Hmm. I will consider, but I think I will stay in the meantime.
Good. So what kind of place... How does a bird bunk down? Just as now looking around the room, just questioning. Do I assume not a bed, but more rather a perch.
Yes, a perch and nest. These are requirements.
I'm gonna see if some servants can help me round up. Or at least where I can look for better stuff in the morning. Till then, she gestures to a chair. I can put a blanket over it.
Do you have anything...
Fold it up so it's soft.
Do you have anything atop a building? I like to be able to see things. Helps me also hunt for food.
Corey, do you know that there is a rather high tower up top in the castle? Cedric likes to frequent it as a place to think.
I know, perhaps. Not tonight, because I haven't asked the person who owns it.
I will say, don't forget, it is morning.
Yes, but we're going the fuck to sleep.
Sure.
Are we? You said that.
Yes, you guys are prepping for bed.
We
but
did
that
our all
doesn't-
night.
That doesn't mean that you have to sleep at this exact moment. If you want to do something, you can.
Got you. Well, I mean, I can go ask him. Till then, do you want to just explore? I need to do a thing, so you are welcome to stay in here. Unfortunately, give me a minute though before you go. There is a place up top at the top of the castle. That's where it will be. But let me get permission first. How does that work?
Is Trevelyan? Where is Trevelyan at the particular moment? Where did he land, so to speak?
You guys are currently in what appears to be a study. I've been going off the idea that you are still on Corey's arm.
Same.
If you would take me outside, I would likely perch somewhere and await your return with the news. If you'll just let me outside.
Sure. You said there's a balcony before, right, Tart?
There is a balcony in here, yes.
And she will walk out there and just gesture.
There are also a fuck ton of windows if there's not a balcony, so...
Yeah.
As Corey walks out to the balcony, Trevelyan will wait to hop off of Corey's arm and onto the rail.
Okay. You hop onto the rail, and you can look out, and you have currently a gorgeous view of the ocean. You can see way off in the distance there appears to be another large landmass. Whether it's an island or another continent or country, you are unsure. It's at this distance, it's a tad hard to see even with your hawk eyes.
What do your hawk eyes see?
What do your hawk eyes see?
You have to be in the game to see exactly. You'll give me a moment. Let's see what Trevelyan sees, shall we?
Above game. Let me make sure you guys are looking at the right map. Okay, you are. Yeah, so you are here. You can see, like, barely see the edge of this landmass over here.
Okay.
It is far, though. You can't... Again, it's hard for you to see, which is a testament as to its exact distance.
I think this will do for now. And he's gonna kind of step and kind of hop over to the corner where he can kind of sit down and just start watching the.
Just look.
Yeah, he's
Do what
he's
bird
looking.
do best.
You know what, Trevelyan, make me a perception check.
Let me pull up the hawk sheet.
I can
here.
tell you what it is exactly. You have, is +4 perception with advantage.
Damn.
I wonder why you know that so
I wonder
well.
why I know that. Stares at Kago.
Hmm.
For those who don't know, my familiar in our Curse of Strahd game is a hawk. So I've become quite familiar with the hawk stat block.
That bitch on immediate recall. Let's go.
Yeah.
16.
You look out and you can see a small number of fishing boats. Not too far off from the coast.
This will do fine. I can continue to watch.
Okay. And she'll give her head like a dip, like a farewell nod, and start heading out. I guess to go look for Cedric. Now she's gotta ask. Yo, can this bird, technically my bird now, kind of just a bird, chill up there?
Okay, so you're leaving to go look for Cedric, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least Diana first, I guess. You said she was following, right?
You and Diana were prepping to go to bed, so Diana would have been following you to the room, but you left to go to the study, to talk to Trevelyan. So your assumption is that Diana is in the bedroom.
Okay.
But I believe we will call that a scene there. Jake, thank you for stepping in again, my man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/la_Jake, the Trials of Ados guy.
Yeah.
A fantastic campaign. Go check it out. Also, he's very handsome.
True.
His world building skills are pretty damn good.
Oh, hell yeah. And voice work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for having me on.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I shall allow you to continue your session unabated. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Jake. What a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna come back to you, Corey, if that was all right.
Good. I was about to say, yeah, please do.
We're gonna go.
Please do later.
Yeah, we're gonna go over to Rovan right now. Rovan, you, as we know, went to your room and found a mysterious letter and gem on your bed.
Yep.
You have decided to pursue this lead. You know that Cloudstalker Peak would be probably a few hours by horseback. It's definitely a trip that you can make there and back in a day. So, you could try to hunt down a horse, or you can go on foot. The choice is yours. What would you like to do?
Ravan will try looking for a horse that he can borrow that's not gonna, raise too much questions.
Okay. Where would you like to find such a horse? There's the cities. There's the city stables. There's the castle stables. Where would you like to try and find a horse? There's a random person on the street with a horse that you could try to bribe.
Or steal from.
True.
Actually, hold on. I have a question to ask you then, Tart.
Sure.
Hey, remember those griffins?
I do.
Still happen to be in city, would they?
They would be, actually.
I'd like to hunt down the old mount that got us up to the good old Faze City.
Okay. Alright, you go on out and you head down to where the Griffin stables are. There are a number of griffins still, currently in their stables. The stables are actually quite busy at this moment, but you are able to pull over a what appears to be a tiefling who seems to be tending to one of the griffins at this moment.
Pardon me. I would assume you are the current stable master?
At this moment, yes.
Yes. Forgive me for the interruption. I do not mean to rudely keep you from your duties. I would
Oh,
like to
it
take
is
one
no
of the
trouble
griffins.
at all.
It is. Would you mind if I take one of the griffins out for a flight? I wish to do some practice.
Kind of looks around. I am going to actually, before I make them say anything, I'm going to roll a check real quick. Yeah, that's high enough. I see. I presume you are one of the new Vanir God, yes?
Ravon will produce the symbol of the Vanahir New Guard.
That will do just fine. Go right on ahead. If anyone asks, you can tell them that Zorai let you borrow this griffin. And I will put the
Thank you.
spelling in the chat.
Please and thank you. Ah. Nice. Sarai. With that, Ravon will go try to find... I'll try to find the griffin that carried him up.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't take too much effort. You are able to find it pretty easily considering its larger size.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple people who give you a look like, who the fuck is this guy? But nobody questions you.
It's been a little while.
Kind of produces some rations out to give as a treat.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check with advantage.
Cool. Animal handling. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. It almost immediately recognizes you as you come over and begins kind of like nuzzling into you. It kind of nudges you back a bit because of its sheer size.
Good to see your wing is healed up nice and proper. You were brave during that encounter.
It kind of ruffles its neck fluff at you and coos a little bit.
Next time we are in aerial battle, we'll make it the third time for the charm. We'll beat that score. 2 out of 3 catapults.
And he'll just kind of give it the little scritches on the neck.
Okay. So you're going to take your griffin out towards Cloudstalker Peak then, yes?
That I am.
All right. With that, you actually cut down your time to get there even more. Now it will only take you perhaps an hour to get there.
Griffin,
as the griffin flies.
Yes.
No, you said an hour. So like an hour as the griffin flies.
Oh, yeah.
Nerds.
I thought you were gonna follow up with something like as the
I was like,
griffin
"Ooh."
flies.
No, as the griffin flies.
I've heard
hour.
that turn of phrase.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you, punk.
Thank you, CG.
But with that, you begin heading towards Cloudstalker Peak. We're gonna come back to that.
Hey, oh.
We are actually going to jump back over real quick to Corey. Corey, do you go to hunt down Diana or do you go straight to Cedric?
Diana first, because he's staying. He might be staying like with us, like depending on.
Okay.
She just needs to know.
Yeah. You go back over to your bedroom and Diana is in there pretty much already ready to go to sleep because she's been up quite a long time as well. Fucking deciphering the book you guys got brought back. She goes, "Oh, there you are. I was wondering where you went."
Hey, babe, I actually, Trevelyan might be staying with us. Is that all right?
I have no problem. I love birds.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't think you would. I just, I gotta ask because it affects you too.
I do have a question though.
Yes.
Is that, what was his name? Amos's bird?
Yeah. I spoke to him. She says, like, gesturing like to her hands, like, spoke magic. She's trying to gesture magic. I spoke to him. He took it fairly well, but it'll obviously still be at least probably a bit.
Poor thing.
Corey just looks down, just like, now I brought it up. Oh, now I'm sad again.
You know, I would have to check as it's been a long time, but when I was under, and you can see she kind of hesitates at it a little bit, when I was under Aurelia's tutelage, I did actually used to own a small number of birds.
Oh?
Aurelia used to tell me about how birds were a good object to study, and eventually they became a sort of, became a bit of a way for me to help collect my thoughts. I haven't owned a bird in, I don't know, maybe a year or two now, so actually this might be a good change.
Yeah.
I think I have, and I'll have to check, but I think I still have my old bird cage somewhere. I'll have to look. But it should be big enough for Trevelyan. I had a owl in there one time. Rather big owl,
what,
actually.
for just like, if we're like traveling like in a carriage or something, or?
Well, I mean, also if we don't want to risk him flying out and giving him a home, so to speak. Just a little space of his own.
Yeah. There is a space up at the top, but that I was thinking, but I do know I need to ask Cedric, and that's actually where and she points to the door. That's actually where I was on my way to now. I just need to come by and ask you first.
As you mentioned Cedric, she goes, Cedric, I think I actually just saw him leaving. I, like, leaving the castle, not warping out like we do.
Yeah.
So, he's probably in town.
Or... Yeah, probably just...
I think he's in town. I don't know why he's leaving, but if you could probably catch him if you hurry.
Sure. Yeah, okay. You go take a nap and she'll, like, get close, like, kiss like her forehead, like, mwah. Thank you so much for your hard work. Thank you so much for your hard work. I love you so much. We are forever in your debt. We already know this, but I'm letting you know. I'm saying it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I love you too. Now, real quick, before you go, later today, and it's not a big deal, so don't freak out. I wanted to talk to you about something. And this is not a, like, this is not a, we need to talk. It's just a conversation I want to have.
Okay.
It's nothing serious. I promise. Don't freak out. Your face is turning red. I can see you freaking out. Don't freak out.
She's squinting. She's squinting.
Make me an insight
Like
check.
the highly suspicious, like,
Make me an insight check.
$12. Fuck, my +9 for nothing. Fuck.
She's somewhat hard to read, but her face is not, her expression is not serious.
She doesn't say anything. She still holds her, like, squinting, suspicious as fuck stare.
Mhm.
But she lifts her pinky and holds it out for her.
Are you gonna make me pinky promise?
I'm gonna make you lock it with your thumb, too.
Sure. And she goes through with it.
Alright. She makes the, I'm watching, like, the two eyes at her eyes, and then points, I don't know how to fucking describe that. That's... Look, visuals we rely on visuals a lot. Anyway. And she can start booking it.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an investigation check. We're gonna just pile through this so that way you can get your long rest.
11.
Okay.
Say that. God damn it.
It takes you a little bit of time, but you are thankfully...
Would it help if I wild shaped?
Sure, yeah. What do you wild shape into?
Let's see.
I may give you advantage depending on what you pick.
Hold on. Just a sec.
No, I refuse.
Turn to, I guess, a... Oh, fuck. What's a dog that smells like, with like, that was used for, like, tracking? Like a spaniel, I guess, or a foxhound.
Hey, yeah, bloodhound.
Bloodhounds.
We're gonna go with a spaniel, because they were too. Because
Okay.
they're slightly cute. I don't know. I
Okay.
like a cuter look right now.
You turn into a spaniel with deep blue eyes. And you begin to run. Go ahead and roll that perception with advantage. Or investigation with advantage, sorry.
So just roll it again.
Yeah, just make
We'll
another
just take
roll.
the higher, yeah.
Okay.
Soft
Easy
20.
enough.
Yeah.
As you leave the castle in your dog-like state, you can smell the scent of sweat and metal in the air. You look down the way and you can see down where the new airship district has been built. You can see a number of ships beginning to come in. An indescribably significant amount. You gather a hunch, and your instinct begins to draw you that way. As you head down towards the skyship district, you see a lot of these skyships are unloading in port soldiers and refugees. A large number of them. As you begin kind of filing through the waves of folks coming through, you pick up on a familiar scent. That musky, regal scent of Cedric. And you
Fitting
eventually...
description.
What's that?
It's funny you chose those words, but like they're funny, like just hearing them, but they make sense the more like I think about them. Like, you know what? Yeah.
You do find Cedric, though. He seems to be kind of standing off to the side, alone, no guard with him. No city guard or Vanihir guard with him.
Is he in disguise?
He's not in disguise. He's not barking orders. He seems to just kind of be watching.
Can she sneak up on him? But while, like, to do, like, sneaking up, her intention is to sneak up on him and then, like, return to her form, but, like, surprise, but, like, you know.
Make me a stealth check.
I clicked it. Are you gonna go?
There it goes.
14.
14. He seems
Wait,
rather...
hold on. Let me pull up a dog. Let me pull up a stat block. I don't know what.
That is a good point. Just pull up like a mastiff stat block. That should be fine. That should be good enough. I don't know if Spaniel has a specific stat block.
I wouldn't think it would, but I was just gonna look up a dog, like a hound.
That's fine.
No, the dex is also +2, so yeah, still 14.
Okay. He seems rather distracted, so he doesn't seem to see you coming as you begin sneaking up on him. What did you want to do again exactly? You wanted to just surprise him?
Well, no, hold on. So when she's sure he's like, when she's reasonably sure that he's not aware of her presence, she'll wild shape, just undo it. And she'll just peek around his shoulder, like still like about an arm's length away, but like leaning like she's looking around him. You don't see this many ships every day.
Hello, Corey. I thought you all went to rest. I was told you all came back rather late last night. You remember Cedric? You remember Cedric having breakfast with you all, but you were unsure as to what he exactly knew about the situation, as he was not awake when you guys came back into town.
Yeah. There was... I'll get to that rest, she says. Bags in her eyes just becoming more apparent. I will get to that rest. I was actually looking for you to ask you something completely unrelated to this. She says, like, gesturing to their surroundings. But I'm more interested in this right now, so the rest might wait.
Well. And he kind of looks back to all the people coming in. Corey, really quick, make me a perception check.
Do it rely on smell?
It does not.
Okay.
You all are also no longer a dog, so...
I know, but if it needed to... Shut up. 15.
You can see his expression turn a tad grim. And you begin to look over and you can see a lot of refugees, more than you originally noticed. As well as a lot of soldiers being wheeled out, carried by their friends. Seemingly a lot of injured folks. Cedric kind of looks over, and without looking to you, he says, "Things have taken a bit of a turn for the worst."
What happened?
One of our only remaining safe havens was hit. Hard. Harder than any of us could have predicted. Most had to be evacuated.
Where was this?
Fort Andros. It was our main point of bringing troops into the Fierce Lands.
Where is that tart?
It is right here on the western coastline.
I see.
Now that it's been lost, far more planning is going to have to be made. Wasn't our biggest camp yet, wasn't our largest headquarters, but it was rather significant, and its loss presents dire effects to the war effort. That is primarily why I'm going to have to step in. This time tomorrow, I'll be on one of these ships, making my way to the Fierce Lands. Theon offered to teleport me there, but I think the men seeing me aboard the ship will be good for morale. And it being a sky ship, the journey won't be as long.
Plus, you can see the status of the surrounding areas as well.
Exactly. But things continue to get worse. More extreme means might have to be taken into account, and that is something I don't wish.
Is there any way I can help? Or we can help?
He gives a small smile and he turns to you. And he puts his hand on your shoulder. It kind of brings it down to like your forearm. You're doing enough already. More than I could even begin to ask for. You and your friends have been giving us a incredible amount of help. If anything, you're saving grace in this.
I don't know about that. I
mean
I
it.
bumble around a lot, but
Oh, we all bumble around. Everyone in every adventure has a bumbling phase, don't worry. Sometimes I still feel like I'm doing that now. I mean it though.
pink starts to show on her face. I very much doubt you're going through right now, but even if you are, it's not obvious by any means. You hide it well.
I suppose so. I mean it though. Don't undersell yourself or your abilities. You all have done great things thus far. Things that most wouldn't live to tell the story of. Facing an archlich, an archfey even.
That one just happened. That one was purely luck, I'm pretty sure. Ooh,
I don't believe in luck.
I don't even know what happened with that one. But you're welcome. She says, looking up, really trying not to fiddle with her hands, but she's like slightly clenching, but like more so trying not to fiddle with them. So it's like it ends up being like slightly twitching, like nervous twitching.
He pauses
I
for a
guess.
moment. You may call it luck, but luck, I feel, has very little to offer in fighting an archlich and an archfey in the same day. I take something more. Some would argue a miracle.
Yep. And by the grace of the gods, I am still here. I'm going to make it everyone's problem.
I don't think I've heard that before.
You're welcome for that too.
Not a bad problem to have.
So are
though.
you? No, not at all. They're amazing. I can't help but wonder though, looking out over this, if Dragon's Reach can't hold or house people, do you want me to see if Haven could take in some for if they really want to get far away?
He seems to ponder that for a moment. Not a bad idea.
They are building. They're always building. They're expanding. They'll have jobs for steady income and actual housing, permanent housing, if they want.
Not a bad idea. Perhaps something we can discuss, but we kindly have plans. We are building a new ward on the outskirts of the city. The Sharkana
Oh.
Ward. And I will put the spelling in the chat for y'all.
Yay! Thank you.
We are dedicating a plot of land for a refugee camp, as well as a space where all the families being brought in are guaranteed food and water. Shelter to some degree. It's not perfect, but it's better than the alternative. And you can see as he says that, he kind of looks back to all the refugees, and your gaze kind of follows his, and you see what appears to be a single mother who is just completely torn up, and 3 small children with her.
How dare you give me abuela? How dare you?
Abuela knows all.
One of them
Abuela
seems to have
runs this show.
one of them seems to have a rat on their shoulder.
God damn it!
Allow us to ruin this depressing moment with an Encanto reference.
The funny thing is, I literally just watched that for the first time last night.
I love it.
It's such a good
Who
movie.
is your favorite?
I have yet to see it.
I'm not. God damn it! I'll kidnap you
Same.
for it.
It's a good
I'll
movie.
kidnap you for it too. Don't worry.
It is a very good movie. Anyways,
It's very
moving on.
fucking good. Anyway,
But
who's in charge of that? Of watching over that?
actually, there was a bit of thought over that, and Cormac actually offered the services of Mirden Amaris. Seemed more than happy to help.
Tara,
Me-
who is that?
Mirden is Cormac's second in command, who you guys have met several times. He essentially took over a lot of the control of the military operations when Cormac was indisposed.
That was his partner, right? Was that his
Yeah,
partner?
I was gonna say, was that his boyfriend?
It's not his boyfriend, it's his boyfriend's brother.
Oh, okay.
I remember now. Thank you. It's just been a while.
Yeah, absolutely. That name is a bit refreshing though when he says
Yes,
it.
it is. And a very because of that, a very warm smile
did
replaces the worried expression.
He did a very good job organizing the Evergreen refugees as well as what remaining forces they had in Cormac's absence.
Gods, yes.
He'd rather be in the fight like a number of us would, but him and I both agreed that this was probably the best he could do for us right now.
It doesn't. You need to stop underselling yourself. She says now, like with this kind of sardonic laugh.
Perhaps.
You all are doing amazing. You have amazing people, but you're. I mean. You know. Shite ruler for. Sorry to be blunt, you're not. You're pretty damn good.
Careful. That was almost a compliment.
Hey, I can give them, okay? I just. And the pink starts to intensify. I'm bad at them, okay?
It's alright.
Common is hard, alright?
Is it? Yeah, I suppose so.
You would think. He,
kind of, in the midst of your sentence,
Primordial is
kind
much easier.
of puts his hand on your, kind of like that gentle caress of, like, your, elbow. Thank you. Your kind words mean a lot. There's always a bit of room for kindness, even in these dark times.
The dark is only able to look so scary and impending because there is light.
He nods. There's wisdom in that. Thank you. But, that being said, you really should go and rest. You all have been awake far too long, and you all have put in as long of a day's work as I can possibly imagine.
I know, but now I'm interested in. Now I want to talk to Mirrodin and ask him how he's doing things here and if he needs help. Damn it!
He's got a few helping him
I
out.
know. I just.
Honestly, Cormac's advice was the best thing I could do to help out was let him work. So,
Yeah, you cannot keep that one still.
no. I've had a few interactions with him, and in most he was downright vibrating.
I think I know what you're referring to because I've seen it.
Yes, go rest. Gods know you deserve it.
Ah, fine. There's a sweet bun area, bakery around here somewhere. On the way back. Make sure you stop by there. They just have really good things. There was one there. Tart.
Yes.
We've been there at some point. I know in this city.
I know.
I don't know.
You said I know and then followed it up with I don't know.
In character, she knows. I am a dumbass though. Help.
Right now I'm trying to pull up the name. Because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Fuck.
Hold on, I'm getting it.
No, I'm trying to pull up mine too. Don't worry.
I'm actually not sure I gave you a name to begin with.
No, I just see there's an adorable freckled satyr lady.
Yes.
Wait, no,
okay.
it says Novilus. Is that here? No.
That's in Novilus, I believe, what you're talking about. But I do know the place in town you're referring to. I don't think I gave you a name, so I'm gonna give it to you now. It's called the Bright Nook. Bright Nook.
What?
Bright Nook Bakery.
Not Bread Hook. It was Bright Nook. That's it.
Not Bread Hook.
Although that's a cool name too.
That would be cool too. But bread does not go on a hook, I don't think. That's more taffy.
No, the bread hooks you in.
Look, Jake and I got a bread maker. Yes, it does. The bread pull you in. Look, there's nothing like fucking fresh made loaf. That's yours. You don't have to pay for it. It's already there. It's great. Anyway.
Also, if I remember correctly, Novilus has popped back to the Feywild.
Yes. But this is the one in town, not in Novilus.
Yeah.
I do know the one in Novilus you're referring to, though.
Yeah, wrong one. Sorry.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so no, not bread hook, bright, no, the snap there. Where we were.
It's been actually, real quick, make me a persuasion check with advantage.
Go, zero charisma, go! Fuck! Even with advantage, it's still just a 4.
You know, the DC was low. I mainly just wanted to see if you would roll a nat 1. And while it's not a nat 1, that's still very close to 1.
Why did you want a nat 1? Fuck you!
No, I wanted to make sure you didn't roll a nat 1.
But that is really low.
It is really low. However, he does go, if... That's not a bad idea. I will stop by there if I end up having the time for it.
I'm just saying you could stand to treat yourself more.
You're right.
Besides, the brain uses sugar first. So really, you'd be giving yourself just more brain food so you can think better as your king. Just like the finger guns at him, like, hey. Not quite finger guns, but you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I will take that into account, and I will attempt to stop by there if I have the time. Thank you.
You're welcome, Cedric.
He gives you a actually rather kind smile.
Warm as a fucking sunny day. Is his response. Is her response, sorry. Another warm smile. It's like, this is nice.
Make
This is
me a
really good shit.
charisma check.
This is bad. We just did this.
Make me a charisma check, Corey. Okay. Okay. He's taken a bit back by it, but he doesn't exactly refuse the compliment. Thank you.
Wait, what? No, I meant another warm smile. Don't worry.
You said your
I'm
response
not-
was as warm as a sunny day.
No. That's not what It doesn't matter.
Okay. I presume you start heading back to the castle, though, to go sleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
You head back and you pass out, and that is where you get your long rest. We are now going to cut over to Lily. You all... I am going to have to come back to Rovan, as Rovan did need to take a step away, but no worries. I guess I should actually ask, does anyone want to do anything? Because now we're going to start moving on to stuff after the long rest. Does anyone have anything they want to do before they go to sleep?
Besides the stuff I sent you a message about, and we don't open a room and the game closed. Before sleep, nothing.
Okay. Anyone else?
Everything I want to do is after I get some much needed rest.
Okay. Going once. Going twice. Alright. Give me one moment. Let me find some new music. Everyone now, go ahead and put your long rest down in your character sheets if you have not yet. While you guys are doing that, Lily,
Yes.
you all wake up in the midst of the afternoon. It is a bit later in the day. Lily, you in the midst of your rest seem to feel a sort of warmness coming over you. Go ahead and tell me, what is exactly going through your head at the moment?
Well, am I awake yet, or is this just like...
No. I want you to decide what's exactly going through your head as you sleep.
Well, as Lily is, I guess, sleeping, she feels a sense of warmth, of, feeling, the warmth of not only her giant, girlfriend, protecting her, but all the love and, you know, from not only Genia, but from her friends and, you know, she feels like there's a sense of, oh, what's the word? Realization, you know, kind of, as she's feeling this love. If that makes sense.
I believe so. Your mind begins to sort of sink into this place of what exactly would have happened if you guys hadn't managed to get Corvin back. You kind of begin to linger on the idea of, shit, Corvin made it back on his own. We didn't really get him back. And it sort of feels like a sense of guilt and failure to you. You begin to think of Corvin being stuck in the demiplane for, I would say, all eternity, but you guys know that it was falling apart at the seams. And that sense of guilt begins to overtake you, but just before you succumb to it, there's a sense of warmth that seems to overpower it. Slowly but firmly. This warmth is hard to pinpoint exactly as to what it means. As it begins to grow more intense, you are shot open awake at the very moment of its peak. Genia is standing there, looking at you, a bit confused. Are you okay?
Lily kind of looking up, presumably probably kind of panting from being woken up suddenly, so abruptly.
Lily, you can feel tears on your face. You also can feel yourself warm, hot. Not bad hot. Good hot. And you look at yourself. Have you grown a bit? Describe to me what Lily looks at like in this exact moment in time.
I mean, she doesn't look too much different. You could tell her hair looks a little longer, and she is maybe a couple inches taller. She looks down at herself. I don't know. I feel warm, but not bad warm.
Lily. And Genia pulls out a mirror. Lily, your eyes are bright and yellow, and your hair is stark white.
Lily looks panicked.
Not only is it stark white, there's not really a air current in here, but your hair is flowing. And I will tell you now, above game, you haven't enabled your new form from your Oath of Love subclass.
Oh, damn.
I love it.
Lily has
so full,
taken
she grew.
Lily has
Above
taken
game.
the subclass of an Oath of Love Paladin.
Oh.
Above game, Lily has turned into She-Ra.
So,
Oh my god, I love it.
so, weird question then. So she is empowered by the power of the gay then.
Pretty much. Oath of Gay.
Oath of Gay.
I love it. I love
Can
it so
confirm,
much.
if not already said
No,
before,
it's the oath
gay
of
not bad
yes.
here.
Gay not
Gay
bad.
not. God.
Bringing it back.
That's further proof that gay is not bad here. We have an Oath of Love Paladin. Fuck you.
Hell yes.
But Lily, as you begin to be like, what the fuck? And you kind of like start stroking your face feels, first of all, softer than it has ever felt. And as you begin to really start focusing on it, you see this form, this new essence that you have taken on, this new visage you have taken on, begin to fade. And it isn't long before your hair turns pink again, as well as your eyes.
That's
What did
That's
the Feywild
new.
do to you? I mean, cool, weird, but cool, I think?
Lily's just like sitting there contemplating the cosmos. Just like that look of I'm really not sure what happened. And I'm processing, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's what happened. I don't know anything about paladins, so I'm going to assume that that's probably a paladin thing. Or you've got some freaky shit going on that I didn't know about.
Hey, look.
Separate from the other freaky shit.
Growing is the new one, even for me. I have been 3'2" for nearly.
Yeah, you've
Oh.
definitely been a shower, not a grower.
This
This is new.
I'm sorry, they caught me off guard. It did! She gives this look like, you shush!
Lily, you look at Genia, and as all these thoughts are kind of fucking flying through your head, you realize that Genia is currently sitting at her little she has a little nook in her apartment that seems to be purely for working on tailoring work. And she seems to have a lot of tools out, a lot more than normal.
Lily kind of tilts her head curiously, still in the bed, just kind of looking over at Genia. Are you working on something big?
Yeah. Well, we had a big order come in. One that is going to unfortunately have to require me to work outside of our typical hours, which is unfortunate. You can see she has the beginnings of what looks like a long, flowing white dress that's very sparkly. It's still in the early stages, but you can see you can see like its basis, what's supposed to be. I actually had a maybe a weird question for you. You have up in the castle a friend who's an inventor, right? And I know this isn't exactly like saving the world business, but so I could drop the topic if, it's too irrelevant.
Lily would remember. River does not. Because River's bad with names.
Above game,
Nicholas?
she is referring to Nicholas.
Yeah.
Lily
Inventor
kind of
genius man.
Lily kind of thinks for a second. Nicholas, yeah.
Do you... I don't... See, I hate to do this. Do you think he might have something that can help me expedite these orders? You can see she's, like, essentially cringing at having to ask that.
Lily, chuckles a little. I wouldn't know off the top of my hand, but I'm never against asking him. Anything to help you.
I appreciate that. I can go with you. I hate to be a bother, but I figured if he's an inventor, maybe he has something, you know?
Of course. Lily kind of looks around trying to find Frostbite.
Frostbite is actually currently around Genia's neck. Has been kind of looking at you suspiciously this entire time.
Frostbite, you betrayed me.
Frostbite just kind of turns their head at you, kind of like a dog.
She kind of pats on the bed.
Frostbite.
Come on, I'm fine.
Frostbite slowly climbs down from Genia's shoulders and crawls up to you. You can see Frostbite is actually a little cautious of you, which is weird. Go ahead and make me an animal handling check with advantage.
$17.
It takes just a moment. Frostbite seems to need to warm up to you just a bit after seeing what just happened to you. But he eventually gives in and he climbs up around your shoulders again, around your neck again.
She kind of takes like the upper half of him and like takes his face and smushes it against hers. I'm fine, Frostbite.
He licks your nose.
See?
Not in a dissimilar way to how Toshi licks Flit's nose.
Frostbite's been watching.
Yeah.
Lily finally kind of gets out of bed and stretches and walks over and kisses Genia. I know that I've been a lot, staying with you when I can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about, becoming your one true self, but this is admittedly a bit weird for me. Nice to know. I did the surgery.
Lily grabs Genia's hand softly. Look, I promise, I'm gonna ask about it when I get back to the castle. Or find a book on it or something. It wasn't a bad feeling, though. It felt... And she squeezes Genia's hand. It felt warm.
I'll be honest, I'm not really worried. It was just weird.
You're dating me. Isn't that weird enough?
Yeah, probably. She gives you a bit of a smirk.
Well, we can start getting ready and make our way to the castle, and we'll find Nicholas and I'll figure out what is going on with me.
That works. So you two are going to get ready and head to the castle to speak with Nicholas then?
Yes.
All right. As you do that, we are going to come back, if that's all right.
Yes.
We're gonna go over to... Let me think. I'm gonna actually roll real quick.
Well, I believe our missing person has returned.
Yes. I'm wondering if I want to wait on that, though.
Fair enough.
We're gonna do that soon. The stuff with Rovan. But I am going to... Real quick, actually. I'm gonna go over to Flit. Flit, there was a conversation you wanted to have.
Indeed. Flit wakes up in the morning, kind of glad to be in their own bed. Still a little groggy, though.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of walks out of her room. She looks on over to where the meeting room is and just kind of lingers on it a little bit before she decides to head on over to Reno's library.
You remember Reno mentioning the night before that he was going to do a bit of research into a few things. You head on over and he's hard at work. You can see he has a number of books alongside him, and one of them is the journal of the Nightmare Sage you guys found.
Knock, knock.
Ah, hello, Flit. Please, come in. Wait. How long has it
Reno?
been since I just saw you?
Couple hours.
Couple... You can see he's genuinely taken back by that. I appear to have got way more caught up in my work than I originally thought. Good to know. Apologies. How did you sleep?
I slept alright. I really needed that nap.
Oh,
Well, I
I'm
guess-
sure.
And I guess you, based on what you said, you could probably use a break.
Yes, a break sounds good, actually. But you kind of giving Reno another once over, you can see that there is a very damp, what appears to be like a handkerchief on the table in front of him. He appears to have been sweating to some degree. Probably more than he realizes.
Foot looks down at it. You've been going at this harder than you think, huh?
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Come on. She's gonna go over and grab his hand. Come on. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that you haven't eaten anything either.
He almost embarrassed goes, No, I haven't. I tend to have that habit, it seems.
Here, let's go down to the kitchen and get us something to eat. And, maybe take a minute to appreciate the great outdoors for a little bit. Or at least the castle garden. It's not quite the great outdoors, but
He smiles. That sounds good, actually. You both head down and you are able to make yourself a little bit of food. You are able to find a couple serving trays to bring it out into the castle garden. It is a beautiful day outside. You can see that in one of the trees inside the castle garden, a bird has begun building its nest.
Look at that. Settling up for, I guess, next spring after winter.
Seems to be that way, yes.
Here, let's have a seat. And she just kind of motions down to a nice spot of grass nearby, just kind of getting a good look at the grounds.
Reno is looking at this bird curiously. But he does eventually let the topic drop and go over to sit with you.
After a few minutes, Flit just kind of absentmindedly pulling out, I guess, a sandwich or something that they fixed us, and just ever so slightly feeding out little bits to Toshi. And as she does, she's gonna, can I ask you something? I don't know. I guess intimate would be the word? I don't know what the word would be.
You say the word intimate, and you can see a very slight blush come across his cheeks. I suppose so, yes.
When we were out in Arnia, we were fighting some really nasty guys. And there was a moment where one of the nasty guys who was attacking our friend, I wound up turning into a rat. He was a jerk and he deserved it. But afterwards, we had the man with us. And he was a rat, sure, but we had his fate in our hands. And I didn't want to kill him. But everyone else in the party did. And we were with another friend at the time who I understood he was very angry, but I looked at, I looked at this person in my hands, and it wasn't like when I'm on the battlefield fighting for my life, fighting for someone else. They were helpless, and it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right that I took their life, no matter what they had done. And they had done some really terrible things, I'd learned. But still, is it right for me to kill?
Reno pauses, and he begins to look up at the sky and kind of ponder that question for a bit. Unfortunately, that seems to be almost mandatory in this line of work. Doing things you don't wish to do. I know myself have done a number of things that I am not necessarily proud of. He kind of takes a deep breath. Kind of thinks for a few moments. There's no right answer to this question. It is a question that no matter how I answer, somebody will always see it as wrong. Much like this conundrum you have found yourself in. Regardless of the choice you make, there are benefits, there are consequences. I guess what I should ask is, if you didn't kill this individual, what would you have done? Obviously, you would have spared him, but what would have been the next course of action?
Well, he was still essentially trapped in that form. I think I would have been able to tie him up, bind him in some way, make sure he didn't get out, and then give him over to the guard.
You think detainment was a better solution than murder?
I would have preferred it that way, but I acquiesced. I had to concentrate on this. I was concentrating on the spell, and we knew further in there was more danger, and keeping him alive was a danger to us, danger to the mission, danger to other people. But it still didn't feel like. I guess I just don't feel right about murdering something that can't really fight back, I guess. No matter how much it's done wrong.
May I ask you may I make a counterpoint?
Sure.
If the situation had been reversed, and this individual had managed to turn you into a rat. I was determining what to exactly do with you. Had they decided to let you live, would you be thankful?
Flip pauses for a second. She kind of looks off into the grass. I think I'd be grateful for anyone who spared my life, but I don't know. I guess I'd feel dirty about it.
I guess another question is, do you think this individual, having given the choice, would have chosen death over... slavery isn't the correct word, but imprisonment? You all remember what happened in Nin. She chose death over dishonor.
And she did.
If that had been Nin in that situation, would you have spared her?
I don't think I would have. Flick kind of really looks down. I don't think I would have.
See, the difficult part of this is that everyone has a different point of view. Life is unkind and downright unfair in that regard. Regardless of the choice you make, somebody is going to see it as the incorrect choice. But what matters to you is, even if you make the incorrect choice, what matters is that you don't give up whatever morals you have. You may stray from the path, but as long as you don't lose it, as long as you don't let hate and rage consume you, well, that's truly what matters, isn't it?
Yes, it does. I guess.
Whether this individual deserved retribution or not, whether they deserved mercy. That could be up to you. It could be up to your friends. It could be up to a court judge, a king, a lord. The idea of what is wrong and what is right is, I don't wish to say foolish, but skewed. It can be cloudy. The lines are often blurred. What matters, and he puts his hand on your shoulder at this point, what matters is that you remain true to yourself. And even if you stray off the path, to make sure to return to it. Lest you become lost.
You know, I'm glad you're so wise.
Well, experience equals wisdom.
I guess that's true. I really haven't been experienced that much for 247-year-old, have I?
Certainly less than others in your place. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means there's more room to learn.
More room to grow.
Exactly.
Thanks, Reno. I didn't want to talk about this with the rest of the group since everyone was, well, in such a different point of view as me. I guess I wanted to hear it from someone close who wasn't a part of it, you know?
He smiles. Sometimes an outside opinion is needed to keep us level-headed. And he kind of leans over and he gives you a small kiss on top of the head.
So, Flit at receiving the kiss is... You can't tell it. 'Cause their face is all red. I got a little redder.
I see. I will nod and smile at that as the DM.
Flit is going to lean back over to Reno in a similar gesture and get very close to his face. And lem him on the side of the cheek.
Okay. It takes him. It hits him out of left field, but he laughs and he smiles. And then
We're both laughing.
He turns to you and he goes, "You are probably one of the most genuine individuals I have met in my exceedingly long life. It is very refreshing."
Yeah. Reno, you're one of the... I said wisest earlier, but you're also one of the kindest people I've met in my significantly shorter, if exaggerated, lifespan. And Flick kind of loses her train of thought for a second. I enjoy spending time with you. I really do. And I'm glad I could come to you with things like this. She kind of nibbles on her food a little bit, just kind of unsure if she should say anything else, and if so, what to say. She just kind of takes in the moment, spends a little time with Reno.
All right. You both have a lovely little afternoon picnic, and it isn't terribly long before the sun slowly begins to set off in the horizon. And I think we are going to move on from there, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
We are going to move back to Rovan, if Jay Frost is still here.
I
Give me one moment.
Ever left?
Actually, no, give me 1 second. I said actually, and then I changed my mind again.
dope.
Which is it, Tart?
We are gonna move to Rovan. Don't worry.
Thank you. I was like, yes.
Nah,
No.
we're going to Corvin.
Yes. No. Yes. Question marks.
We're gonna go to Amos. No.
Yeah.
It's quiet, cause he's dead.
Rovan.
Howdy.
The day before,
Sorry.
earlier in the day, as your friends are all resting, you have continued to proceed this lead that you have received. And on the back of your griffin, you eventually managed to find your way to Cloudstalker Peak. It is a beautiful location. Green, sprawling hills that lead up to a very, not steep, but robust cliff edge that looks over the sea. The distance between the edge and the ocean, the shore down below, is easily a few hundred feet. Maybe closer to 1,000. It's a long way. You land on top of the peak, and your griffin begins to sort of move around and sniff the ground. You go over to the edge and you begin to feel the ocean, the coastal air begin to kind of take over you. You stand there for a moment, you look over the edge, and you just kind of breathing in for a moment. It is in the morning, so the sun is low in the sky. What would you like to do?
Ravon's gonna look at the very low rising sun and just as he's taking in a deep breath of that fresh air, he's gonna slip back in time a little bit mentally, back to visiting this wondrous place with his family. Just getting to see the beauty that was carved out by nature and the gods. Just remembering the amount of time he got to spend here, playing, enjoying all the scenic beauty. And as he's doing this, he kind of takes a seat, kind of has Raikiri brought out, and just takes a moment to spend time with Raikiri, just for a little bit to take it all in and contemplate it all.
The fox spirit of Raikiri emerges in front of you. Slightly larger, with a few more red streaks across its fur. You can feel your bond with Raikiri growing. And as I mentioned to you above game, while you did not level up, Raikiri did. That being said, you do spend a little bit of time alongside Raikiri. Raikiri seems to watch the morning sun with you. The sunrise. The scene feels oddly familiar to one that you experienced a few weeks ago, where you originally met Raikiri. You saw Raikiri's former wielder disappear onto the coastal winds. There's that cool breeze that kind of comes over you that is resemblant of that scene.
Fates are very kind today.
Kind of looks to Raikiri and just gives a little... it's kind of hard to actually give him a full actual head pat, but just kind of a gesture. Just
He is corporeal in form, so you are able to touch him.
woo, perfect.
In fact, as your bond seems to be growing stronger, it seems more corporeal than you may have originally thought.
Look more solid, Raikiri.
Raikiri
Lot more
looks at...
solid.
What's that?
Oh, just saying a lot more solid, and continues the head pat rub.
Raikiri looks at you, and though he doesn't have eyes, he seems to give you a curious look. He eventually crawls onto your lap and kind of curls up. The peace and tranquility of the moment only reaches a certain point, as you can still sense that letter in your back pocket.
Ravon will, at this point, pull out the letter and the gemstone. He's gonna try to figure out,
And I'm here. What am I to do?
you stand and you begin to kind of move away from the edge a bit, reading the letter. You look down at the gemstone that you have and go ahead and make me an Arcana check.
You got it. Arcana. The normal. 18!
Nice. Now that you're here, you kind of have reached what I would classify as a moment of clarity. What I will say now is that due to your time sort of enjoying the location of Cloudstalker Peak, you are going to go ahead and get a short rest.
Sure.
While you are doing that, in this sort of moment of clarity, you begin to look down at this gem, and while you know you've never seen it before, something about it has this odd sense of familiarity to it. You look at it, and then you look over at the cliff edge. And there is a sense that come across your mind that sort of puts the pieces together.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Well, if it puts the pieces together, I'd like to enact on that.
Okay. You go over to the cliff edge, and you do what Ravon would do. Go ahead and make me the athletics check.
Oh boy. $14.
You take it, and not at full strength, but with a decent amount, you yeet that sucker off the cliff edge. And as you do, you watch as it stops about 20 feet away from the cliff face. It begins to glow. You begin to look at this curiously. I need to change the music.
Yeah, boy.
Let me think. What would be a good piece of music for this? Let's go with this. As the gem begins to float in the midst of the air here, it glows brightly, and then you see the gem explode into a small cloud of gem dust. The dust begins to swirl in the air softly, becoming similar to that of what you've seen from a Dimension Door spell. You can tell it's not quite the same. And as you are processing this, a large form rushes out from the outside. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Copy that. Perception check. 17!
Your eyes are able to catch this form as it flies out, and you see a large black griffin. On top of it, on its back, a very familiar, large, fully armored figure. As Bison, on top of this large black griffin, lands not too far away from the cliff edge. And that is where we're going to take a break.
Oh dear.
Teasing this more, are we? Oh, and fuck.
I'm in danger.
You're in something, all right.
I'm going to
Fucking-
safely say that you're in the thick of it.
Well, kids, your old friend Robon. Well, kids, your old friend Robon is in what is called sticky widget. How do I get out of this?
But with that being said, we have a lot to get through tonight, so I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick, and then
Same.
we
Same.
will get back into it. I know we haven't touched on everyone yet. I promise I'm gonna get to people. Just again, there's a lot of content that needs to be covered this session. I promise I'm gonna get to everyone.
Oh boy.
But I will be right back.
Herb.
I'm gonna hang out here because I've been just watching. Let's see here. How's it going, chat? I can look at you now, even though I am a moderator. Anyway, so how y'all doing tonight? Enjoying the session? I know I have. Right, Dill? Sorry, Dill? I'm just gonna say Moon for safety's sake. Yeah, a lot of info has been dumped.
D Little Moon.
D Little Moon?
That's what I'm going with.
That's what it looks like.
I try and pride myself on correct pronunciation, so I don't want to mess up.
I get you.
It's an old habit from college because the only person who got that right. Aw, nice.
Beck.
Yeah, lol.
Whew.
But no, sorry. It's a habit that I had in college when I was taking broadcasting classes because they would kind of mark us for doing newscasting, and we got and we would get the pronunciation on the names wrong.
Oh, okay.
So like even like a simple name like Jeff Smith, if we don't pronounce it correctly, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna mark you off a couple of points on that one.
Oh, wow.
I'm back.
It
Hello.
looks like... Hey, Tart. It looks like they're saying... I'm guessing CG was right. D Lil Moon. Also, sorry if I've been quiet tonight. I've still got a migraine.
No worries.
Just make sure your room is dark and get plenty of water.
Mm-hmm. And if you can, get yourself a lot of electrolytes in you as well. That will help.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, I will when we end the session. I have to have my lights on when I'm in game.
As I am back, I do want to go ahead and do a roll call for everyone real quick. CG.
Yo.
J Frost.
What's up?
Joe.
My favorite commentary team, the Oak commentary team, is on right now.
Oh, is that what's currently happening? I have
Yes.
the pay-per-view up just so I can be like, yes, I can see what matches are going on. But I don't have the audio on. Punk.
It's a...
Okay, Punk is not here. River.
E.
And Sarah.
I have a lot of flashbang to catch up on.
Thankfully, there's something on YouTube to help with the recap.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't been able to watch since I've been grounded.
What? Joe? Shilling his own
I
things?
know, wild.
No, I'm showing the YouTube channel. Loopholes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm a raise an objection on that one.
Sure.
No show.
Is Punk back? Punk is not back. We will wait another moment. I realize the scene doesn't revolve around Ravon, but I would like for everyone to be here before we continue. So it doesn't feel like I'm just ignoring folks.
It's okay. I'm usually ignored anyway.
Shut the fuck up.
Dude, if I can't make fun of myself, who can?
I will send you to Jesus.
I will send you to Jesus. Blech.
Lamb.
Mlam. Dude, there's been some good shit tonight in the session. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
I was very excited for this session.
Character development.
Exactly.
Do 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 do.
I hope everybody's having a good Easter Sunday if you celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
A really good one.
He's Punk back. Okay, still.
Better grab the old poke stick.
I am poking. I'm poking.
Poke. Poke, poke.
I'm poking.
I took the time, since we are waiting, to update the story so far in the Discord.
I see that, and I like the comic you put in there.
Oh my god. Bless you, CG.
It's been a while, but Hi, I'm Daisy put out some really fun stuff. Yeah, I've been meaning to update it for a while, and I was going to do it this weekend, and then Easter happened. So that kind of fell through. And it turned out to be one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to do this the next time I get online. Oh, hey, shiny thing. I'll do it next time on online. Ooh, shinier thing.
And
Ooh,
I'll do
synchro
it again,
one.
unless it happens sometime else. Then I'll do it the next day, or the next day, or the next day, or the next day,
Or the next day. Or the
or
next day. Or the next day.
Telephone for you, sir. Hello? Or the next day, or the next day.
Is Punk back? Okay, that is a no. Give me one moment. Alright. We are going to go ahead and continue, just for the sake of I want to make sure we have enough time to get through the stuff that everybody wanted to do today. So, Ravon.
Yeah.
Okay, I see Punk is now back.
I've been back for a minute. I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't
you're
have my
good.
headset on yet, so I didn't.
You're totally.
But then I heard the ping, and then I immediately heard. We're gonna continue at the same time. I was like, oh wait, shit!
No, you're fine.
They're waiting. Fuck.
You're totally fine. You're all good.
Oh my.
Sorry.
You're fine. Real talk, you're fine.
I know. I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
Ravon,
You're just not hearing that part. 'Cause-
Got
about
it.
20 feet away from you, this massive black griffin lands down. It is similar in size to yours, perhaps a bit bigger. It lands a little bit ways down from the point that you currently stand, and Bison slowly steps off from the griffin. He turns and he looks to you. Doesn't move.
Ravon is going to give a deep sigh and just go, look, I know we just got back from, thing that happened not even 24 hours ago. If you're going to kill me, can I at least get a full rest before you do?
I'm not here to kill you.
Oh.
Still keeping a hand on Raikiri's blade, but very closely watching Bison.
He takes a couple steps forward, not threateningly, just a few steps forward. You're different from the others.
I mean, I am Goliath. I'm different from a lot of things.
Back at Bosch's Manor, your group had the chance to attack me. When I entered, I feel like most would have, but I saw that look in your eyes. You were against it. Why? You can see his warhammer's down at his side, but he's not currently wielding as if he intends to use it. Is low to the ground right now.
There was no need to commit into an act of violence like that. You were there to retrieve the dead. Your comrade did not listen. He paid his price. You retrieved him. Wouldn't
You
have
know
helped
that I'm
either
a
way.
threat.
I am aware. And Ravon will kind of take a quick inhale in through his nose, exhale through his mouth. I am aware of what you are capable of. More importantly, considering mission at hand, had we fought you, we would likely have died. There is no need to put unnecessary risk.
And now? If you and I were to fight here and now, what do you think the outcome would be?
Glorious, but very, very piss-poor death for me.
Well, I suppose you are your father's son.
Immediately squinting. What would you know of my father?
More than you think. You watch as he slowly reaches up, dropping the warhammer to the ground, and removes his helmet. Ravon, go ahead and describe your father for the rest of the group.
Can I do one thing first?
Sure, absolutely.
I need to mute myself for a quick second.
So that's about 4 of us that called that?
Yeah, you guys have been like
Wait.
taking bets on that essentially.
Little.
Wait, when did you guys predict that?
The moment that Tart said Bison gave Ravon a look, and I was like, wait. Oh.
Give me just
Was
a
I
second.
there
I have
for
one
that?
last one to blast out.
No, it was
No, I
it was
don't
like 2
remember.
sessions ago.
See, I knew as soon as you said Bison came through that portal, that had to be Ravon's dad.
I was hoping for something completely different, but I'm for this.
Okay, I think I got it out of me.
You good?
Yeah, I have the pillow on standby in case I need to, scream into it another time.
I see. But yes, go ahead and describe your father for us.
Just standing a little bit more taller than Ravon. His father stands a very solid good few feet bigger than even Typhus. Bulked, kept, with a face that is equally as chiseled from stone, but definitely has seen the ravages of time and battle. With eyes like that of Ravon's, hazel,
And in fact, at the right angle of light, it can almost seem like a piercing copper tint.
He looks at you with a... I wouldn't call it a grim expression, but definitely stone-faced, if you will. Pun not... mostly not intended.
Yuka.
Yes. You are your father's son. You can see that around his chin where he used to have his beard that you were a bit familiar with growing up, you can see the spots where he definitely went through and shaved it. You can feel your heart sink in your chest. What do you do?
The very... If one were to look at Ravan's body language, it's a mixture of unseething rage, heartache, confusion, and just, well, the closest I could say is flabbergasted. He's gripping Raikiri's blade extremely heavily. You could tell that facially, he's literally biting on his damn cheeks on the inside just to hold composure. And his eyes are kind of, from time to time, just flaring with a arcane energy, like he's about to unleash an eldritch blast.
He raises his chin up a bit. I didn't foresee you getting involved in all this. Your brother, maybe, but not you. That isn't a sign of disrespect. More inexpectance. Above game, I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but I said it, so it's a word now.
Yeah. What? Answer me that. Where were you?
He takes a breath. I've been handling business, keeping our family alive.
Eating and beating cretins. The insane and the damned.
Perhaps. They are far more powerful than you give them credit for. And that power can keep us alive. Don't you see that?
That power can also be what unravels all of existence.
He shakes his head at you. You really don't know what's going to happen, do you? What good would obliterating this plane do? No. The Hellfire simply seeks something greater than that. And, when things go as planned, our family will be secured an eternal reign. An eternal bloodline. Can't you see I'm doing this for you? I'm doing this for your brother, your mother, your sister. Everyone that our family holds dear, and our legacy.
We are servants of the gods, Father. We do not seek to supplant the world that they built. Mother is worried sick about you. She prays for your safety to Atlas,
To Zeus, to the entirety of the Titanomachy. To the gods.
I know.
Typhus has had to take the reins of the family.
I know! I know. You can see he pauses for a few moments. I didn't want any of you to become involved in this. I wanted you all to let me handle it, and then I would have returned home, a family all the stronger for it. But I didn't expect you to get involved. Not like this.
You were reached out by Lady Silverstone herself. And when you were not there, I volunteered. Had you been at home, no. No. It wouldn't change it. The fates would have immediately put this either at a later date or even earlier. What did they promise you? You say eternal reign, security of our blood. I know you. The stories I grew up with. A man who stood with 100 others, strong. Who fought in wars. To uphold the safety of the Divine Isles. The Oaths of Atlas.
Rovan, you are too young to understand that legends are nothing to obliteration. You ask what they have promised me. Well, they have promised me and our family a place in the new regime. Eternity. A family can have more than we ever imagined, and that is all I have ever wanted for you, your mother, everyone our family holds dear. Everything our family has ever represented comes to this, don't you see? Not only can we bypass the frailty of legends, but we can cement our family in the pages of time.
Father, they talk. That is the talk of madmen that would try to usurp even the fates. Icarus flew too high and met the sun's burning gaze and plummeted below. You know what happens when it comes to all this. The tale of Tantalus, the man who tried cheating death, only to be tortured by the worst punishments in Tartarus. You allied with the very thing that's even worse than Tartarus. You ally with Erebus. You ally with primordial chaos, with destruction. Power like that, beings of that caliber, they don't build, they destroy. There's nothing, no glory. There's nothing worth it.
He pauses
Which I
for a
got.
moment. So I suppose there's no point in trying to talk you into my side then.
Vaughn takes a heavy breath. I'm not going to fight you, father. Not now. But you're going to have to answer some things to me right now. And I want you to answer questions before I make a choice.
He looks up at you expectantly.
This willing or unwilling, first and foremost.
Willing.
Which of them approached you?
The wolf. The wolf is somebody I know from a life I thought once forgotten.
How long have you kept up this facade?
It was never a facade. Everything I did was only for you and our family. But me leaving our home was, I guess you could say, our draft. The sign that the time was now, and that I was needed.
When was the last time you spoke with Mother?
He doesn't say anything, and he looks away from you. Longer than I wish to admit.
Takes in another deep breath. Should at least be updated. And update others. Not the Hellfire Assembly, but those who are of your family. If you are my father, even remotely, you would send a letter or message to Mother and tell her you are safe and alive. That you are just buried deep in your work.
Make me a persuasion check.
Alright? $24.
He quietly and slowly nods. Perhaps you're right. Even if we are on separate sides of this conflict, you were right in that regard. I will do so, regardless of the Hellfire Assembly's approval.
Speak well of Typhus, for he takes the reins of the household leader, when Mother does not.
He nods. I always saw strong signs of leadership from that boy.
That Hellenesta is holds firm in that regard too. She even found someone. Anthony.
He nods approvingly at that. Good. Always hated that little shit from House Chronica. That little shit that I heard you bested in one-on-one combat.
I would be lying if I said I didn't have some help in some regard. But I did it for my family. Much like what you do for yours.
He nods at you.
What
I
you
don't
will
know what
do,
comes next for us both, but
I do. And Ravan will actually kind of take off a part of his armor, right with the backplating of the back fist that is being held across his palm. You are going to do me something.
he doesn't say anything. He just looks at you, waiting.
Ravan will immediately pull out a dagger. And
Oh.
as he pulls it out,
Okay.
he puts the tip of it on the top part of his palm. Slits. Flips the dagger and put it into a handing motion towards his dad. You will make me a blood pact. You will swear up not just to the gods, to the fates, you will swear upon the very river Styx. You will swear upon the river of oaths.
He
And you will
leaves.
listen to this, what I have to say.
He leaves the warhammer in the grass, and he begins to approach. There's a menacing presence emanating from him as he approaches, with his large griffin, solid black griffin in the back. But as he approaches, he slowly begins to... You watch as he begins to turn what appears to be a small, like, gripped panel in the center of his chest piece. And you watch as the entire top half of the armor folds up, seemingly unlocking. Hinges and joints coming undone. And the entire thing drops to the ground behind him.
Still standing firm, holding out the handle of the dagger to him.
He comes up to you and he stops, pausing a moment. Then he grips your forearm in one hand and the hilt of the dagger in the other. He takes it from you. He looks over at it for a few moments, observing the small bit of blood you left along it. Without saying a word, he begins to slit his palm as well.
They take the arm with the slit palm and grab onto his slit, and he will squeeze as hard as he can, going. On this day you will swear to the gods, you will swear to the fates, you will swear to the titans, you will swear to the river Styx. An oath. Neither of us will speak of this to anyone.
Pact of secrecy.
More than that. I know that the fates will make a day for us. A day you and I will lock blades. A day that will come, where there will be no held back amnesty, no held back strength. Where father and son will collide for a lethal fight. A fight to the death.
A meeting as warriors instead of family. That is what you wish for.
Should I perish and you win? Should your side win this war of existence? I will submit. Should you bring me back? But if I win, if I lay the killing blow upon you, that I will still carry the name of this house. That I will still carry the name of Sionis. I will not bring you back. But I will keep your memory unsoiled. I will spare Mother that horror. I will spare Typhus and Hellenista that shame.
He quietly nods, still meeting your gaze. The terms have been agreed upon, and the pact is sealed. And you, in the traditional way of sealing this pact, you both release your grip, and you draw your hands across your face. Across your left eye now, the blood seems to almost become caked into your rough skin, becoming a new marking alongside your other Goliath heritage markings, familial markings. Now a permanent part of you. As it is with him. Goodbye, Ravon. My son.
Goodbye, Lord Sionis.
Oh! Above game. Ah!
Fucking. Oof.
Fuck you, Ted!
So, I mean, I understand Goliaths have cold resistance, but he needs to get some fire resistance now. Damn.
Ravon, I'm gonna give you inspiration for that one. If you didn't have it
Bye.
already.
Goodbye, stranger.
Whoa.
You're no dad of mine. Fuck you.
That was spicy. All right,
That was
continuing.
good shit.
To that, Ravon will just pick up the piece of his armor that he took off, put it back onto his right hand. He will hop on his griffin. He will just look, nod, and if one were to look at it, Ravon, while on Griffin, he's looking at Tempest Bane, the spear. The last gift that he got from his dad. And he's flying right off back to Dragon's Reach.
As your griffin takes off from the ground and you begin to fly out over the peak, heading south towards Dragon's Reach, you watch your father. No. You watch Lord Sionis approach the cliff's edge. And he just silently watches you until you are out of sight. You return back to the castle. Your mind still clouded from the events that you just experienced. But you return to your chambers. And you pass out. Your body giving into the exhaustion. You would think it would take you effort to fall asleep. It doesn't. You fall asleep instantly. And you receive one of the calmest sleeps you have ever received. And you get your long rest.
Understood.
And with that, we're gonna move on. How you feel, buddy?
I'm a feeling.
You're feeling?
Yeah, I'm a feeling.
Alright. As the rest of the day goes on, eventually the sun begins to set. Corvin, there was a thing you wanted to do.
Yeah, mostly just nothing really special. Just wanting to peruse the library for not only stuff about dream walking or dreamscapes, but also kind of looking into a bit more into how Aurelia siphoned the power from the Archlich that we saw just like a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. As you begin your investigation, you hear a familiar voice enter the library. I will see you soon, my dear. Thank you again for the lovely picnic.
He just looks up from his book.
You see Reno beginning to enter, and as he is entering, he kind of looks up and he looks to you. Ah, Mr. Alakia. Is there something I can assist you with?
Perhaps, trying to figure out anything about dream walking or, I guess, the dreamscape in itself. I mean, whereas here in the material realm, traveling between the other planes is relatively simple, mostly because it's still within the same time span. Granted, the Feywild's time displacement is a little off, but dreamscape is kind of different because it takes place in some other kind of metaphysical plane of sorts.
You can see his eyes raising more and more as you continue along this train of thought.
What? I've been studying this so I could learn how to plane shift myself.
Yes, I'm actually quite impressed. You're clearly astute on the matter.
He tips his metaphorical hat.
So you wish to...
If the Burst of Muldoon is with this Nightmare Sage, and Bosch was serving him, we might have to go into the dreamscape itself to retrieve the artifact.
That seems to be the idea, yes. Or, in a better scenario, that the Nightmare Sage really doesn't exist, which I wish I had a more concrete answer to that. There's the possibility that Lord Bosch has hidden the breast in a secure, holy place, and you can see him throw up air quotes at that. A shrine to the Nightmare Sage. Perhaps one he created, perhaps one that already existed.
If that's the case, we might have to recheck the mana, but his... whatever shrine was there, I figured would have been in the same area that we fought him in.
You mentioned that he had been desecrating Lord Fallweather's shrine to Paylor, yes?
That he did, yes, and desecrated he did. Oof.
Obviously, it didn't work quite well enough. If you all were able to return using Lord Fallweather's word of recall.
I mean, is that how clerical magic? Like, has that how devout magic works? That works off a shrine? I've never really understood that.
Well, the word of recall spell, normally you designate a holy place, something symbolic of your god. And when you do so, when you use the word recall, it returns you to that place. However, if that place has been disrupted or desecrated by another force, well, the spell may not work. It can be blocked. The entire process could be entirely ruined.
Perhaps it's not really the shrine itself, it's just mostly that place in this realm, and I'm gonna go on a whole tangent. Okay. He just kind of like puts his hands together, just kind of takes a deep breath.
You've been thinking a lot about this.
I think I've gotten a hand of teleportation and how it's supposed to work, but especially when trying to traverse other parts of the existence, but I guess I still have a lot to learn.
As do we all. Don't worry. You'll figure this out together. It seems you have other questions too. I can tell from your demeanor.
You knew Aurelia close, yes?
I did, yes. She was a dear friend.
Did you know anything about her being able to siphon the power of, I guess, powerful beings, or just anybody?
As you ask that, you can see his expression grow a bit grim, and he sighs. I've had a number of thoughts on that. From what you described, it is very... And as he's speaking, he begins approaching the table where... his desk, where there are a large number of books that have been stacked up. It seems that this technique you mentioned is very resemblant of a very ancient form of magic. One that involves being able to control the very souls of others, puppeteering them, or even extracting them into a physical form, like what your group saw. These techniques are extremely taboo and, well, once thought lost the time. Are you familiar with the tale of the Undying King, Vecna?
Above game. In game. I don't... Would he?
Make me a history check. History or religion, I'll let you pick.
Oh, boy, history or religion? Yeah, history's better. 13?
You are somewhat familiar. Vecna was a once human king who attempted to use his lichdom to ascend to godhood, and he succeeded. He now seems to... He's often referred to as, in many worlds that he has come across, as the most powerful lich to dwell in that world. That is what you are familiar with.
The name is familiar, mostly about essentially just a mortal who succeeded in trying to become a god himself.
Correct. Vecna, in their quest, found ways to traverse the multiverse. presumably, and this is mainly theories, but there is some empirical evidence that suggests this form of magic originated from powerful mages in Vecna's thrall. Part of Vecna's quest to rule across the multiverse. I studied it for a time in the attempt of preserving its secrets. And you can see Reno lifts their left sleeve, kind of raises it, and you can see there's a section of it across a solid portion of the forearm where it is visibly drained and withered. It looks somewhat similar to what you've seen Amnon's poison have an effect on individuals.
The moment that he sees it, Corbin's eyes just kind of widened for a bit and just kind of go back to like that resting expression.
It was ambitious. My curiosity perhaps got the best of me. The arm has little feeling anymore. Sometimes I awake in the night and don't feel it at all. But there's enough there to know that it hasn't consumed me. This form of magic comes with a fatal flaw. It seems to utilize the caster's very essence. Those who practice it often end up succumbing to it. And as he's saying that, he's pulling his sleeve back down. Frequently end up becoming similar to its creators. Zygmotus, Torek Drakenheim, who you met, was familiar with a small library of this magic, but even he was a novice to its art. In the state that the Vanahir god faced him, I believe he would have been incapable of doing what Aurelia did. That complicates things. In fact, it's quite worrying. This magic has since been called Argomancy, and I will give you the spelling for that.
Yep.
Zygmotus' title of Argolich is derived from this name. And if you needed me to pause because I realize I'm throwing a lot at you, let me know.
I think I got most of it. I'm just trying to think of a response. Do you think that Drakenheim would have had anything laying around then, like back at his study?
It's possible.
Because I don't really want to. The risk is a little too much of a risk. I guess I'm just trying to look for any way to counter it or to reverse the effects.
And that is part of my fear. That your group will have to learn more of its origins to find ways to combat it. I'm unsure what that will entail, but I know that it will only be obscenely dangerous. Corvin, you notice a sort of look in his eyes. Go ahead and make me an insight check.
Alright, +8 insight, let's go. Right, there you are. 16? That looked cock as fuck.
It does.
Yeah. Anyway.
There's something he's not saying. Something he doesn't want to say.
Kind of raises an eyebrow. Kind of tilts his head. Reno, you don't have to protect me from information. I can handle whatever risk. I can handle whatever is going to get thrown at me. Hell, I survived a vampire. What worse could it come at me?
You can see his expression still grim. He looks at you and he goes, well, if my theory is correct, and by the gods I hope that it isn't, this implies that Aurelia sought out this knowledge, this magic, that she didn't find it. She didn't stumble across it. This is ancient, dangerous. I now fear that perhaps Aurelia may not be the person we originally thought she was.
Like she looked into this before she passed away originally.
He doesn't say anything, but he gives you a somewhat knowing look.
I mean, there has to be a good explanation. I mean, she probably looked into it. I mean, you guys fought the Ogre Lich before. Like, it was probably something that she looked into to counter him.
It's possible, but if that is the case, why would she hide that? How would she hide that? That would have been information she would have to not only hide from us, but even take to her grave. Because I have a very good memory, and he lifts up the sleeve again. She didn't suffer from any difficulties. I could be overthinking things, but it is something to consider. And not to take lightly.
How much of this does Cedric know?
None. I've neglected to speak with him about this. And I ask that you would not as well.
I was not even planning on it. Ever since getting closer to Aura, I don't... If that was me, I think I would feel the utmost betrayed by my own friends, so your secret's safe with me.
Cedric is a good man. One of the best I've ever known. But he is on a very, very thin edge right now. And I'm worried that this information might break him. Send him to a place he may not return from.
At the very least, I don't want poor Nexus to get caught in it.
Exactly. So for now, until we have more concrete evidence, because again, this is mainly theorizing, we keep this a secret.
He will nod and kind of do the zipping lips motion. And he will, he'll kind of look towards Brina and say, random question kind of pertaining to the topic. Drakenheim's Manor, is that secured? I don't want to go on a little expedition later on.
We've had a small force watching over the manor to make sure that there haven't been any more surprises.
I might have to do a check-in one of these days.
Could be worth investigating.
Maybe some snooping as well. Yes, so... he kind of looks up. Oh! And points towards the door. Right, I said I was going to go check out a thing. He'll kind of do like the 45-degree bow. Thank you for the time, I guess. I forgot I had to check into whatever Aura was fighting the other day, and he just kind of books it.
Okay! You just book it out of there. He doesn't stop you. Where do you go?
Docks.
Okay. You are going to speak with Aura?
Yeah.
Okay. did you have anything in mind, like, to roleplay, or did you want to move on?
We can move on. It was mostly just checking in with her, seeing how she's doing, and kind of going, oh, God, you would not believe the day I just had.
Okay. Fair enough. Alright. We will move on then. We're going to really quick come back to Lily. Lily. After you and Genia left the house, or left the apartment, you went up to the castle, and you go over to Nicholas's study, his workshop. And as you go in, there is a small pop and a big strike of electricity that you see poke out from under the door. Is he okay? Says Genia.
I'm hoping so.
You see Nicholas as he stumbles out from his workshop. Smoke beginning to billow out from it. Yeah, okay. That didn't work.
Lily clears her throat.
Oh, hello. Lily, and guest who I swear we've met before. Genia goes, Genia. Right, Genia. Please, come in. Well, maybe not in there. What can I help you with?
Lily, looks up at Genia.
She's kind of
Genia
got that,
has asked me.
She's kind of got that, like, awkward smile of, like,
Lily squeezes her hand and looks at Nicholas. Genia has expressed that she's under a lot of pressure with a lot of orders for her tailoring, and we were wondering if there was any way you had any sort of invention to help.
Genia speaks up. Yes, I am, we've recently had a big order, and I'm hoping you might have something to help expedite things? Nicholas goes, I possibly have something. Here, come this way. And you see he pulls on his, what appears to be like a brooch on his shirt, and a portal opens up. The three of you step through, and you are back in Nicholas's vault. Genia seems a bit awestruck at this. Huh, this is... Well, okay. Yeah, sure, we're doing this.
Lily just chuckles. This is actually really neat.
Why, thank you. I think I have just the thing you're looking for. And he goes over to the big screen and keyboard, and he starts typing something in. Let's see, was it 421 or was it 422? 421. And he types it in, and in a large glass pod next to the space where he is sitting in, something begins to materialize. And it looks like a child's toy. Kind of like a pig, and he goes, That's not it. Shit. And he types it back and it disappears. 422. And in that spot, a device begins to materialize. It's silver in color. It looks like a box, except you can see there's like an arched point on it that holds a needle. This is something I invented a bit of time ago that is custom made to help with tailoring abilities. I haven't had many chances to field test it, as after making it realize I can't really, well, tailor, knit, crochet, anything. But this seems like a good opportunity to, you know, get a little bit of field testing out, and he brings it over. Gina goes, "Oh, are you sure? That seems complicated." And he goes, No. All you need is a bit of yarn and keep your fingers away from the needle. She goes, "I think I could do that." Nicholas goes, "I can show you how it works, don't worry." And above game, Genie has just received a sewing machine.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
That wheel shit was getting exhausting.
Good thing she's a Goliath. Them suckers.
Look, you can
them
only do a
suckers are
loom so
he-
long.
Yes,
Good thing that she is a Goliath. Them suckers are heavy.
they absolutely
Yeah.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
She got guns for days, though, because of it.
Ow,
Lily, internal gay panic.
But you and Nicholas and Genia spend the next probably hour or two as Nicholas begins to go over the ins and outs of how the sewing machine works. Eventually, you guys wrap up the mini lesson and you take your leave, and Genie goes, "Thank you so much. I will be sure to put this to good use, and I'll let people know how kind their inventor was." And Nicholas goes, "Oh, please. It was my pleasure, really. Anything to get a bit of field testing in." Genia seems quite happy. As you guys are leaving, Genia goes, "He really is something else, isn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is wild. Look at this. And he has a whole vault filled with these things?"
I'm not sure how safe all of them are, but yeah, I mean,
She gives you a bit of a curious look. "That's crazy. Inventions, I can only assume probably weird trinkets and ancient artifacts, right? I mean, he's lived a long time. He probably has made more things than he knows what to do with." And as she is saying that, she is just marveling over the sewing machine that she's been presented.
Lily is absolutely like beaming, like has one of the like, you know, my smiles. You know the smiles I get. The smiles when I gush about my partners, that smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yee.
I'm gonna have to make him something in return with this. Maybe a little sweater. He seems like he would like sweaters, right?
Get a roll.
If you want to roll, make me an insight check.
I'm honestly not sure. Fashion's never really been my strong suit.
With a 10.
Looks down at armor.
With a 10, it's... You've known Nicholas well enough that it doesn't take a whole lot to impress him. While he's a genius, he very much seems to have like that ADHD tendencies of seeing something shiny and go, "Oh!" Monkey noises. Much like I do.
Precious.
So in terms of sweaters, maybe.
I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't like it, especially since it's coming from you.
She nods. I'll definitely have to return the favor then. But this is going to, from the Ray we were seeing, this is going to take days off of my work. This is going to be lovely, actually.
Well, good, because I may need your help with something soon.
Uh-oh, what'd you do? Did you transform again when I wasn't looking?
She laughs. No, but I may need your help looking into that too. I'm not I know you're not really into this, but I'm not honestly sure where to start myself.
I don't really have a religious following, so I wouldn't really know where to begin.
Above game, I don't think Lily's really religious either, honestly.
You're not necessarily religious, but clerics and paladins don't necessarily have to be. It's just traditional.
She kind of thinks for a second. I mean, guess I could start with asking Rovan, since he's a paladin too. So I think she's just like, think of the Deku muttering.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing that. She's just like, I'm not really sure what to do, but I'm gonna figure it out. Just this little like mutter.
Okay. I mean, have you seen Rovan? I mean, we are here. I don't know if he's here. Rovan, where are you right now?
Very deep in sleep.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because, oh,
Fair.
Lily, you haven't seen Rovan since you guys got here. You've seen a couple others, like just kind of been like, oh, there's Corey, there's Flint, etc. You haven't seen Rovan yet. You have no idea if he's still asleep or not.
Honestly, I haven't, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was still asleep. We were, all of us kind of had a long night. And I'm not sure, after I left, what everyone else got up to.
We shouldn't bother him then. I'd hate to bother anybody who was still asleep. It's fine. You'll end up talking with him later. I'm sure he can give you a briefing.
Eventually.
Yeah. I'm getting hungry though. Are you getting hungry?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go get some food. Food sounds good. I should probably go
Food
drop this
always
off as
sounds
well.
good.
Kind of gesturing with the sewing machine.
Yeah, that too.
You guys head on out. I realize we are getting a bit close to the ending time. There are 2 more things I'd like to do, if that is okay. If everyone is willing to stay with me.
Yeah.
hell
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut back over to Corey.
Huh?
Corey,
Hi.
it's been a little bit since your conversation with Cedric, and you go out into the garden and you see that Nexus is currently playing in the garden. Diana's
Wait, has Corey gotten her rest yet?
You have gotten your rest, yes.
Oh, thank God. Because she needed it.
Yeah. After
She was looking rough.
you
Anyway, continue.
you wake up from having your long rest, and you notice that Diana's not in the room. You go down to the garden and you find that Diana is watching over Nexus, who is playing in the garden.
How are 2 of some of my favorite people doing?
Ah, there you are. Sorry,
She comes out.
You seemed really tired. I didn't want to wake you. In fact, I actually practically bumped you on the way out and you didn't wake up, so I didn't think I could even if I tried.
Oh yeah, no. I was out. She's just shaking her head. Would not have moved.
She gives you a kiss on the cheek as you sit down.
No.
How was Cedric? Was he fine with everything?
Well, wait, actually, I don't think I got to mention it.
Alright.
She kind of just cringes on herself, like, you can see her, like, wincing at the memories, like,
Alright.
Look, I was tired. He was dealing with things. It did not seem like the right time, and plus I made a fool of myself anyway, it doesn't matter.
It's fine. On the bright side, I did find this. And she reaches down to the side and she pulls up a birdcage. I haven't seen Trevelyan since, you know, you mentioned him, but, you know, I did find this. Figured this would be good.
Yeah, he mentioned something about wanting to be able to see a lot of things, like somewhere on top of a building was what he preferred. So I don't know, but depending on... If Cedric says yes, then we could maybe leave it open up there so he has his own little spot.
I don't
He's
see
a
why he
smart
would say no
dude.
to that. He's a very smart
He's
dude.
really smart. Like, yeah, he's not gonna just run off anywhere and, you know, run into a building.
Trevelyan. I thought you meant Cedric.
I mean, he's well behaved too. Probably a little too much. I think that's why I get so nervous around him.
What do you mean?
She looks down at her hands. I don't deal well with authority usually. I wouldn't be able to stand talking to someone just
that the
in
truth?
Cedric's position, but but because he, you know, it just acts so formal and so it becomes a little discomforting. I don't know. It feels like he's keeping a wall up, you know?
That
I mean,
sounds like him.
he talks to me about some things when things are hard, but there's still like a mask, it feels. I mean, I'm not, you know, gonna force him or anything, you know, but...
Yeah. I've known Cedric a long time. Longer than any of you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of an expert on the topic. She says, kind of with like a sarcastic smirk.
Please, what subject are you not an expert on? I'm
What?
still looking for one.
Flattery won't get you anywhere, I'm afraid.
It's really not, but...
Or at least anywhere you haven't already been. She winks.
Pokes her in the side. Diana! Like, just a smile, like she's messing with her.
Nexus comes over.
Gives her like a mock scandalized look.
Yeah. Nexus comes over and he appears to have what looks like a large centipede in his hand. Like one of those hard, like, chitin ones. Look what I found! He holds it up to you, Corey.
Wait a minute, is that the kind that will hurt him?
No.
Oh, okay, good. He's like, wait, centipede. Centipedes bite! Wait!
Do they? Above game, I don't think I knew
I think
that.
centipedes do. It's millipedes that are normally, like, not, right?
Oh, I have no fucking idea. I've got no clue. Anyways, he holds it up to
Centipedes
you.
you mostly eat insects after killing them, so I really hope it's a millipede.
Sure, yeah, that one. He holds it up to you. Look what I found!
A very worried look comes over her face as she looks at it and looks at him. Is like, okay. If you see one that looks like this, but fewer legs, don't touch it. Okay?
Why?
Round, and many legs are friendly. The ones that are... Hold on. The ones that have, like, 2 sets of antennae, if you look very closely, she, like, points, like, towards it, like she's getting closer, like, she's not, like, uncomfortable with it. If they've got 1 small set and 1 long set, she says just right into, like, where its forehead would be. And if they have, like, a fraction of the legs and they're thick, don't touch them, they will bite and really hurt you. Please don't. These are okay, though. These are friendly.
Gonna make a roll for him really quick.
Please understand. God, please understand.
Okay.
What do I...
He looks at you and goes, okay. He smiles. And he goes off.
She just smiles at Nexus until he walks away and
Yeah.
is out of earshot.
He goes off and goes over to a nearby tree, and you see him put the whatever he had on the floor.
Millipede, I hope so.
We're gonna call it
I hope to
millipede.
fucking God.
He goes and he puts the millipede on the ground by the tree. Continues what he's doing.
She looks over at Diana worriedly, like the smile falling. Does he get it? Does he actually get it? Because I really don't want him getting hurt.
He's a smart kid. I think he got it.
I know, but every now and again, look, we don't have this problem with Primordial and just with, I don't know, humans. You guys are weird. Like, Inasi, we're not too different, but there's some difference. You guys scare me sometimes.
We're a scary race.
Yes. She just nods like a little too vigorously. Yes, you are.
Back to
But that's okay.
back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
Cedric is one of those people that he does have his walls. And
His what? I'm sorry, you cut out.
he does have his walls.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
And them being brought down as a testament is to his connection with you. The closer you get, the fewer
Oh.
walls are left standing.
Huh.
He's also a man who is very stubborn and is one who's too compassionate for his own good. He's one of those who will definitely inconvenience himself to help somebody else.
Wait. And she like looks up from her hands at Diana. Why does it sound like you're describing me?
Well, I mean, despite exteriors, you two aren't that different.
She looks away. Tart, you roll me a perception.
Okay, I'm rolling a perception for Diana.
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me 1 second, I don't have her sheet up. Also, I'm going to change the music just real quick. Don't freak out.
Okay.
Don't freak out! Don't freak out.
I'm freaking out, man.
You are freaking out, man.
Perception.
I just realized I haven't been able to hear the fucking music this whole time because my... I went to my volume mixer because I keep that one like pinned to my taskbar. Firefox was like down at like level 11. It's like, what the fuck? No, I
but
couldn't hear shit.
a 21. For Diana on perception.
God damn, babe.
Bro, she's got high wisdom.
Yeah. It's it's a bashful look. Just clear as day. Just you have made her now flustered. Good job, Diana. Anyway.
Anyway. She gives you a look.
Shut up. Am I know you wouldn't be. I guess wrong would be the word. To feel a way about. It doesn't matter.
She gives you.
I want more nap.
She kind of squints at you a bit. No, wait, what do you mean?
Nothing.
What? You can't.
I want more nap. Is it wrong to want more nap?
She's gonna insight you.
Fuck, Krista, let's go.
Make me a deception check. Try to beat an 11.
15, yes.
Ooh.
She gives you a bit of a squint, but she lets the topic drop. Anyways, I actually did have a question for you. I
Yeah?
mentioned it earlier.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right.
I
Yeah, you made me nervous, you little shit.
I told you not to freak out.
I know, but well, I didn't freak out. I got nervous. That's different. She's pouting now. Just a little bit.
Anyways, the thing I wanted to ask is, I've been talking with a few, and there have been conversations about, you know, a couple members around the church have been talking about getting married, starting families and stuff, and for as long as we can remember in recent memory, we've been all about this big quest we've been on, all these crazy things we've been doing, and it kind of occurred to me that when all this is over, I'll still be here. I'll still have the Echo Dea, and, you know, I'll still have Cedric, Nexus, you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was wondering, when all this is said and done, what do you plan on doing? Do you have some sort of grand scheme after the world is saved and everything's peaceful again? Do you plan to go back home, or maybe take a small stint at the Animus Sanctum?
I haven't figured that out yet. To be honest, up until now, I never really had a plan. So much has unfolded just within the last little while, honestly, since meeting everyone.
And don't think I'm pressuring you. It's not.
Oh no!
It's not something you have to answer right away. But it was something I thought
She reaches
about.
for her. Corey reaches for her hand, and holds it. No, you're good.
And just something to think about, you know?
I actually had an inkling of an idea, not a plan, but at least a want, you know, to help form the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking with Cedric earlier, and he mentioned that above Game Tart, is it Mirrodin?
Mirrodin, yes. Mirrodin or Maris.
That Mirrodin really stepped up helping some things going on around here.
Yeah, the Sharkane Award, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I felt just a tug, like, in my chest. So I want to help with that. That would be nice. Not that particular, but something like that.
well, didn't hear it from me, but you happen to know someone very, very close to you, and she kind of gives you a nudge, who may or may not also be helping out with the Sharkane Award and its development.
I figured. Look, there is a brain up here. It gets flustered a lot, but it's up here. She's just like tapping her temple, which is just a snarky smile. But I probably will do at least a small stint in the Sanctum. At least probably not one, though. Probably just every now and again. Just go, but not for long.
Yeah, I get that.
You couldn't keep me away long enough. Let's be real.
Shame, she says with a cheeky smile.
Oh, so you have a replacement for me, I see.
No,
I
didn't
swear to
say
God.
that.
I swear, I know I've seen Reno. No, I'm kidding.
No, I wouldn't do that to Flit.
I know. Speaking of, have you noticed? I think they'd be cute. Are they? They are, right? They haven't misread, I think.
Unsure, actually.
I don't know either. However, I think it's cute.
They're
I
very
think it would be cute. If not, yes.
Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't have to be something you need to answer. It was just something I thought of, and
honestly, you'll probably just be my anchor. Like I feel like your home is with you, definitely. Although I may wander and go do things every now and again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd figure that.
Yeah. But nope. Like Sisyphus, I am bound to you. Except you're amazing, so.
Ooh, amazing. I don't think I've heard that one before. She gives like
Awe-inspiring, really.
ooh, bringing out big
Ooh.
words. Like it. Nexus comes back over and
She
goes.
shoulder bumps her, which is like a warm smile.
She shoulder bumps you back. Nexus comes back over and goes, I brought you guys flowers. And in his hand he has 2 very small white flowers.
Are they just daisies? He didn't. I
They're
swear to
just-
God, she's gonna be like that paranoid. Like she's gonna be that paranoid man, like
They're just
not
daisies.
grabbing it from him, but just like the thorough check over. Like,
Yeah.
wait,
No, they're just daisies. They're just simple little white flowers. Diana goes, thank you. Oh, I love it. And she immediately like puts it up like in her hair.
wait, did he hand us both one?
He handed you both one.
Corey's gonna put on the other side of her hair.
He looks very pleased.
How sweet. Aren't you just the best? And she like reaches over and like grabs him in a hug.
He starts giggling, smiling. It's getting a bit late. How about we go inside and we make some food, Nexus? How does that sound? Okay. Okay.
Good, because I'm starving.
I'm rather hungry as well. I woke up not super long before you. Long enough.
Look, naps are for healing.
True.
Rests are for healing. So it's good that we're hungry. More
Very
fuel. For more nap. God's above, I want another nap.
That sounds nice.
I'm still tired.
Oh yeah, I presume everybody is.
But first, food. I'm thinking a
Food.
stew, honestly.
Ooh, stew sounds good, actually. I think I think the kitchen just got a fresh batch of potatoes.
Ooh. Now that sounds really good. Actually, I have an experiment. Did we still have this bowl of many soups?
You do, in fact.
Oh my god! Who has it?
I don't know. Everyone check your inventory. Who has the bowl of soups?
I assume Corey. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm pretty sure it was given to Corey.
Yeah, like Corey bought it, and she was very adamant. I'm like, no, this is mine. And
I
we're
do
like,
think
okay.
Corey might have it.
Yeah.
I think I
I'm upset
tried
it's
to
not in
use
my
it
inventory.
one time as Corey when I was filling in for her.
That's great. Okay, good, because I have an item, and I honestly want to do some tests on it. You're not gonna believe this, but you put water into this bowl, and it just starts filling up with soup.
Reminder, Corey, that they were there when you bought it.
I don't know, but Diana was.
They were both there
She
when
was.
you bought it.
Diana was
Because it was in your journey up north.
Okay, then nix that, because I completely forgot they were with us.
That's okay.
I thought it was just a crew thing.
I think we got it at Dawnfeld, and Diana's been with us since like before Dry Hollow.
Oh yeah, but I didn't know Nexus was with us because, well, people are bastards and like taking him.
Correct. You do show the bowl of soups, however, and Nexus goes, "Oh, I forgot about this."
Okay. I want to know, if we put potatoes in it and then put water, will it just become... because it becomes different kinds of soups, I wonder if it'll become different kinds of potato-themed soups if we put potatoes in there and then add water.
Nexus, in this excited childlike look, looks over to Diana. Diana goes, "Only one way to find out, right? Come on, let's
Right,
go."
so let's get to it. Yes!
3 of you begin to head into the kitchen. We're gonna move on to our final scene for the night.
Yes!
Sarah, let me change the music real quick. Sarah, after now 2 nights of very little sleep due to these nightmares you've been having, you begin to start moving down the hallway, trying to sort of kind of wake yourself up, keep your mind off of what's happened. you feel a slight pang in your chest. You cough, not really thinking anything of it. You feel a small dribble down your chin. You go, huh, that's weird. You wipe across your chin and there's a dark liquid. At first you think it's blood. Then you realize that is not the case. It is a dark ichor. Almost solid black, very slight tints of red to it. You go, oh, that's bad. And then you start to cough again. Becomes violent. You heave over. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw.
And I'm awake currently?
You are awake right now.
Oh, wonderful. 16.
Okay. You begin to cling at your chest and you drop down to one knee. You begin to fight back, but this is hard. This is very hard. As you begin coughing and more of this dark liquid starts coming up, you hear a voice. Sarah! And you look up and you see Kieran begin to approach you. She comes down to practically like a knee slide. What's happening? She begins feeling your forehead. What do you do?
I don't know. Help me.
Hold on. And she takes you by the arm and she begins helping you up. I need to find Ravon. She begins walking you down the hallway. Ravon, you are in the midst of a dream. Your mind actually somewhat clear despite the events that just occurred. Surprisingly clear. And all of a sudden there is a at your door. Ravon!
Shit. I'm immediately lunging up, freaking Raikiri already in hand and also holding Tempest Bane. Immediately just ripping the door over and immediately putting both weapons. What?
Before you see a very haggard looking Sarah being held up by Kieran. It's getting worse.
Okay. We're going into overtime. Okay, let's go. Now. Immediately slinging Sarah over his shoulder and bolting, grabbing Kieran.
Okay.
And, dragging. I will go into full sprint mode. So, 80 feet of movement.
As the three of you begin moving down the hallway, due to Sarah's now increasingly worsened condition, that's where we're going to end tonight.
Yay!
Oh,
Wait, so
thought
who
you guys
all is
were
awake?
getting... What's that?
Who all is awake? Seeing that just Ravon and...
Everyone is awake currently, but currently the three together are Sarah, Ravon, and Kieran.
Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
But yeah, you guys thought you were gonna have a normal day off with no trauma whatsoever. Nothing
no such
bad
thing with
was
you.
gonna happen. But yeah, how you guys feel?
I'm not morally obligated to actually get this out of the way. And nothing can go wrong.
That's actually a good question for you, Jay Frost. How do you feel?
Hold on. Where's the pillow? There we go.
I love that he's getting cut out.
Me too.
I think that should answer it.
It sounds like he's hawking up the most violent hairball.
That's my best. No, that's my best.
Actually, no, I can't speak about that right now with panic mode going in.
Bro, I had that story beat cooked up for a long time.
Tar, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
How's it feel? Literally holding my character's heart in your goddamn hand and smashing it.
It's red and squishy.
Yes, like Jello.
Bastard.
Mm-hmm. But thank you all for joining us tonight. I think this was a well-made session. Smile. And we got to just about everything I wanted to do tonight, which was good.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, I was really worried that I wouldn't get to everything I wanted to get to, but we're actually able to get it all out of the way.
Fuck yeah.
So, with that being said, let's go. Let's go ahead and start doing our outros. Let's go ahead and start with. I'm gonna roll a d6. Let's go ahead and start with. Actually, let's start with our returning player for the night. Let's start with Sarah.
Oh, okay. They can find me at twitch.tv/wolfstalker16. Still not back to streaming. I really hope to get back to it soon. I'm still grounded. I'm working really hard on school. I don't know when I'll be back. But I know when I do come back, I will be continuing, possibly even restarting Resident Evil 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Good game.
Hey, don't feel bad about restarting. I had to. Twice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't remember what's happened and my VODs are gone. So
Yeah,
that's a thing.
You'll be fine.
It'll be fun. You get to see the wonders of Mr. X.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've even met him yet.
Ah, I see. Good to know.
Oh, even better.
Ignore those very loud footsteps coming down your hallway.
Okay then.
They mean nothing at all.
He gives the best hugs.
Punkles.
Fuck. You can find me all on Twitch, Twitter, and sometimes TikTok at PunkyardDog. Saturdays we do Shokyu, usually, where we play Yakuza games. Sometimes we do cute, cozy streams every now and again. We recently restarted The Evil Within. I'm enjoying the absolute fuck out of it still.
Yeah. Bro, you made me start replaying it on my own time.
Yeah. We got the horror bit notifications back and the heart monitor back. I am very excited.
Yes.
Even I don't know what the sounds are gonna do because I just gave them arbitrary percentages of happening at different like levels and stuff for like, you know, just more variety as amounts increase really just for shits and giggles. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to more horror streams because I still need to play a couple that I got as gifts during some sales. I'm just excited. Trying to get back into it. My schedule is still a bit up in the air, but now we're getting into the weeks where hopefully I'm not scheduled 40 hours a week. I need a little bit more time just for energy so I can stream and just try and make content in general.
Mm-hmm.
River.
Me. You can find me at twitch.tv/WickedRiver97, where I am streaming more than normal, and it's actually nice. I'm actually back to a normal fucking schedule for once. Meaning, you can find me tomorrow. I think I'm playing a new game tomorrow. What? I'm not sure yet, but I'm gonna find something. I don't know. And then you can find me Tuesday for Curse of Strahd. But aside from that, I'm around. I'm on Twitter more. So yeah. And I have a big donation thon coming up.
Yes.
I am doing a big donation thon this upcoming weekend, and I have my wonderful boyfriend, Trash King Arisen, coming to visit from New York.
Stimky
And
Trashkins.
he's gonna bully me.
Stimky
he gets
Trashkins.
gets to assault me by pieing me in the face, assaulting me with a Nerf gun. There's several other things. It's gonna be fun.
Stinky trashkins.
CG, go!
Hi, I'm CG. My throat hurts. I do D&D elsewhere. I pass now. J Frost.
Yeah, what? Fuck. You can find me here at twitch.tv/JFrost747, where this week I'm gonna try out some new stuff. I'm gonna finally try some Pillars of Eternity, both 1 and 2. We'll see how that goes.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, you'll also be able to find us over at twitch.tv/BurnoutVaughn, where this week, finally, without me fucking up and, everything else, I'll go back to Saved by the Spell this Saturday. What's gonna happen? Who knows? Someone might die, someone might live, someone might get it, thrown into detention, or worse, expelled.
I get that reference.
Now, if you excuse me, I need to turn to page 394 and pass this off to Joe.
You can go ahead and find me over at Twitter at TheJoeMojo, where I mostly post a bunch of nonsense and updates, probably for my streams at twitch.tv/JoeMojo, where I am the host of MNW Firing Line, your one-stop shop for everything Multiverse, Nexus, Wrestling, where we recap Friday Night Flashbang and MNW Warzone. We are going to be recapping Breakdown 8 that happened just a little bit ago, actually, just wrapped that up, as well as everything that was happening at Warzone. So please tune in at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays for MNW Firing Line, as well as you can go ahead and find me tomorrow at the Trials of Eidos on twitch.tv/Lejake, where I play Rave the Edgelord. He is insufferable. As well as go ahead and find me over on Casey Punk's YouTube channel for Monday Night Master Duel, where I've been trapped in the Shadow Realm for about, 3 weeks now. I don't know. Time's weird in this fucking void of existence. And let's see here. Who's... Just me's left. Awesome. Take it. Just go ahead and take it away, Turt.
Wait, shit, is that me? Oh, yeah, I guess everyone's gone, huh? Shit. Well, you can find me here at twitch.tv/FryingTart. I do variety games. I do D&D. This week, had a number of things planned. One of them being that this Friday, I'm going to be joined by Beverly Witcherson, who is going to be, helping me endure is probably not the right word, venture into my first experience with Final Fantasy XIV. Because fucking that was met during the subathon, and I still need to do it. So this week we're going to start Final Fantasy XIV, and a little bit of a change to the speedrun thing, which I still want to try and do this week. It's no longer going to be Yakuza 0, because I found out that apparently Yakuza 0 is not a very good speedrun game for beginning runners. So instead, what we're going to do is that we are going to do Yakuza Kiwami 2 as our speedrun game. I am probably still going to do that this week. That is the plan. Besides that, I've got no fucking idea what I'm doing this week. So be on the lookout for that. But, yeah. Thank you all for being here tonight. I was going to raid into Flashbang because it was the pay-per-view. And then they were going to raid into us, but then we started rapping.
I did kind of say, hey, it would kind of be weird.
Yeah, no,
I'm
honestly glad you did that, because I'd rather not them raid into us and then us immediately raid into somebody else. So
it would feel almost insulting.
A little weird.
I don't know why, but it would. But so it doesn't matter anyway.
I do. Oh, what the fuck?
Did someone raid in?
River, where did your other boyfriend go?
I'm sorry. He sleep.
God
He's
damn
been
it!
me for 4 hours.
I was gonna raid into Advi. God damn it!
Wait, Advi?
Yeah, I've
Advi.
been dating Devin for 2 weeks.
Has
Yeah.
it been 2 weeks?
No
I
one
didn't-
told me that.
Nearly two.
Me.
No one told me that.
I
It-
didn't
it's
think
okay.
it was that long.
What's up?
It's
If we
Punk, it's okay.
Ah,
Sorry.
he's super exhausted. That's why.
just gonna say, Punk, it's okay. I didn't know about it until like what River, like Saturday, Friday.
We didn't really tell much of anyone.
Yeah.
There's Advi. I see you, motherfucker.
Gumsy
no.
kind of guy is going.
What's up,
What up?
boy?
The River Advi dating has been very much more private than the Trash River one, which is fine. Yeah, I see Squatch, who I think is who Ed rated into. Gumsy's
Yeah.
live
See.
as well.
Gumsy.
I-
Gumsy.
Yeah, Gumsy, why not?
Yeah.
It's random to
Yeah,
Gumsy.
Gumsy and Squatch are the only ones I have.
Gumsy is playing Twilight Princess.
Ooh.
Ooh. Wait, is that the one with the shit motion controls that they made better on the Switch?
I think
Yeah.
so. Let me make sure I spelled that right. I did. I always forget if it's kinda or kind of.
Kinda.
It was kinda.
Kinda.
But go show Gumsy a little bit of love. Let them know who sent you. We will be back next week with another episode of Exilia Regalia, where we may or may not be having an exorcism. Smile. Alright. But remember, as always, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and most importantly, you matter. We love you all, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye!
See ya!